Hey, SEGways. How is everyone doing? I hope you're all having a marvelous bloody start to the week. Tuesday for me, I think it's the end or midday Monday for the rest of you. Yeah. Woo. How's everyone doing? How are you? How are you? Yes. You, Cree Storm. You, Crazy Ken. You, Chrissy Peak. Mason, Paranormal Engineer, how's it going? Elaine Baker, Candy7, all my awesome mods. I believe I saw fantastic. There you are, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Mike O, of course. How's it going? DKF Reviews. Hello, Pinky. How's it going? Aussie Cat. Good morning. Okay. How's it going, Biff? Be nice, Biff. Be nice. That's all I'm going to say. Mods, I'm going to ask you to use your discretion here, because this live stream ain't supposed to be about you, Biff. So be cool. Tone, thank you very much for your $1.99. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you very much. It's second time. Sure. Sure, we'll go with that. I feel like a bag of rocks in the laundry machine. So hey, 7 out of 10. That's not bad. That's not bad. Better than me. I really don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. I'm going to let this go for a minute. I'm going to let this go for now. It's too early. B25 girl, how's it going? Bad Witch of the South, how's it going? Kirsty Nickel, hello. Crazy Cousin, hello. Kim, how's it going, Kim? Another awesome mod of mine. North Score, hello. Little Miss Mayhem, hello. Kathy Music, hello. Naspakatu, how's it going? Unicorn Rainbow, hello. Lightbringer, how's it going? Miss Kelly, hope you're well. Sage Rat, hello. Laurie Smith, hello. Hello from America. Well, hello from Australia. Quiltress, hello. Jones Mixed Bag, I hope you're well. Catlin Jones, hello. Tom Gibson, hope you're well. Lumery Luma Beans, hello, how are you? Witchy Poo, hello, Witchy Poo. Karen Adom, hello, how are you? Joanne Sober Life, hope you're well. Mayhem, hello. Vlad, thank you very much for your gifted membership. If you got that gifted membership, please be sure to thank Vlad Tepes in the live chat here. Thank you very much. Paul Murillo, hello. Hello to Junior Copier, hello, how's it going? Do I worry that Twin Eye Guy takes over and you can never remove his personality kind of a mask? I swear, isn't there a Goosebumps episode where that's kind of the thing? Yeah, I do. Well, why not? Happy Cappy, hello. Paranormal Ant, thank you very much for your 5 Australian, my friend. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Yeah, he made this one. Hey, Seg and Segway friends. Thanks very much for being here, mate. Appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Basic Brunette, how's it going? Okay. Hanging in there. Glad you got the gifted membership. Brandy Day. Oh, I'm not sure how to say all that. I'll just go with Brandy Day. How's it going? Metal Neck, hello. Joe Boyler, hello. Dominic, I've not seen you in a while. How's it going? Hope you're well. Taylor Von Stresser, hello. I can't help myself. I'm going to engage. I try my best not to engage, and this is probably a bad idea. I did see that Biff wrote a few comments, and I decided not to respond because I felt, Biff, I'll be honest with you, I felt like you were really clawing for attention. But since you're here in the live chat, and I haven't seen you attack anyone, so that's something. Biff, if you could answer this, and I think I already know what your answer is going to be. If you could answer why you felt it was necessary, I'm not even going to ask about the choking thing because that's abhorrent. But like, I think I know why you're going to say that. Why do you think it was necessary to spit on that lady? I think I already know what the answer is going to be. It's going to be a bunch of superstitious mumbo jumbo. But isn't there a way, even if you have the power to bless normal water into holy water? Let's just try and. There's so many bloody potholes for me to fall into that one. But even if you do have that power, why do you think it was necessary to spit it on her? Like, don't you think that's really degrading? Mike Mosry, thank you very much for your $20. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time no see. I've been well, mate. I've been missing you. Thanks very much for your $20. And yeah, guy, mate, I've been good. Got a new video coming out tomorrow that's going to get me into a whole bunch of trouble. You have to wait for that one. We're going to, I know I've just asked Biff a question here, but we're going to, the focus of this live stream is to talk about Colin, the Paranormal Files. And he made a very interesting video saying he doesn't believe in ghosts anymore. I've seen a clip. I kind of went into the live chat at about the halfway point. And in that, he was talking about, so I have seen like maybe 3 or 4 minutes of it, and he was talking about the psychology behind ghosts. So I thought that was quite interesting. And the small bit I watched, I was like, hey, this might be quite interesting to react to on a live stream. I asked Colin if he was cool for me to do so, and he said yes, because I don't normally like to watch a complete video in its entirety. I use, if those who watch my channel, I like to cut segments up and then comment in between it, and then I don't include the bits I've got nothing to say about. So I try to use a small amount of the original clip as I can. But with a live stream like this, I'll be watching the whole thing. So I asked Colin if it was cool, and he said yes. Okay, here we go. Because my gift of knowing let me know if I put the holy water that I make in my mouth, it amplifies it to spread on the demon. Biff, can I ask if you told this? I don't know. Whatever you tell me, I've just got to take whatever you say here as you're telling me the truth. Did you tell this lady that you were going to do this to her? Did you tell her before filming that you will be choking her, or you may have to choke her, and you may have to spit on her? Was she aware of what you were going to do to her? Not too haunted. How's it going? Kathy, hello. It's this Costanza. Hello. How's it going? Did you know if you take your pants off, it makes you more aerodynamic for ghost hunting? You got to talk to David Soul about that. Old David Soul knows exactly what you're talking about, and the few people who know who I'm talking about with David Soul will know he's a fucking legend. I've been meaning to make a video about that guy for a while. Question, Seg, Why don't you and the boys do live streams together anymore? By the boys, you mean, who do you mean? Like Crow and... funny enough, actually, I was thinking of doing something like that for my birthday live stream. I was thinking of inviting some people on there, but I don't know. I don't know. Why not? Lately, I've been like had quite a lot of like talking points, a bit like the video we're going to be doing today. He no longer believes in ghosts anymore because they're no longer as profitable. Be interested to see what he has to say about that. Okay, well, do that kind of stuff. But it's not the tribes of Africa, spiritual belief, not for those English descent. Okay. Okay. Let's see. God, the chat is going crazy. Dan Green, how's it going? Zombie J, hello. How do I say that? Tallock? Hello, how's it going? What was that? I came in late on this chat, so what's happening? Who's choking? Okay, all right. So, yeah, I probably haven't explained this. For those who haven't watched my video, I did a video, I don't know, maybe a month ago, a little over a month ago, about a guy named Biff. Biff is, I believe, Biff, I don't want to, like, put words in your mouth as I say this, but I believe you said that if you're not the second coming, then at very least, like, Jesus Christ is your brother, which pretty much sounds like the second coming to me. Your literal brother as well. I believe you said that. You believe you have superhuman abilities. He's an exorcist who goes, and I covered one such video where he was performing an exorcism on this, I don't know, maybe 50, 60-year-old lady. And in that exorcism, there was a lot, he was choking her pretty hard. I could only assume to expel the demon. And he was charging up some tap water to turn into holy water, put a big swig of it in his mouth, and then just spat it over her head. Pretty confronting stuff, to say the least. Biff didn't watch the video at the time, but I think he's seen it now. It's really, really difficult to watch, Biff. I'll be honest with you. Really fucking difficult to watch. From where I'm standing, it looks pretty perverse, pretty degrading. And I don't know. I don't know if you've answered the question, but my question I've got is like, did you tell this lady that you were going to do this, or you could potentially do this to her? Yeah. That if you answered that, I don't know. But hey, how's it going, Phantomet? Hope you're well. Here we go. I never met her before that night, and I did not apply any pressure on her throat, mate. Biff. Okay. All right. Okay. I've seen the video, Biff. You can see the amount of pressure you're applying to her skin. You can see it. She is coughing her guts up. Like, you can see your fingers tightening along her throat. You can see it. So don't fucking bullshit us here. I knew I shouldn't have engaged. This is on me. Did Steve answer me about if she was aware? You might have to answer again. I've got a lot of people in the chat here, and I must have missed it. Oh, Boo-Ray. Oh, how's it going? We got all the peeps from Boo Production. How's it going, guys? Extravagant Paints, thank you very much for your becoming a member. Welcome back to the Side Eye Guy Shit Show. Really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All the Boo raids. Okay. Yeah, I'm bad enough when I've only got like 100 people in here, so give me time. Out of courtesy, does anyone here believe any other side, or is anyone here just debunked? There's plenty of people that follow me, Biff, that do believe in ghosts. They do believe some are psychics. Some do believe in exorcisms. They don't all follow my belief system. We're pretty open here about that. But I don't see. I've seen a fair few exorcisms since becoming, and even before the side-eye guy, but since becoming the side-eye guy, I have never seen anything like what you did. In my opinion, that was abuse. Now, I'll give you, and I made this clear in the video, that she was playing along to a very big extent of this. In the moment, anyway. But my question again is, did you make that woman aware that you were going to, or you could choke her and spit on her? All right, Candy's saying something to me, which means I've missed something important. What have I missed, Candy? I never met her before that. Yeah, I did not. I saw that one. I answered your question, and no, I did not inform her. I rely on my gift of knowing. Yeah, Biff, we're done. We're done. That's horrible. Nah, mate, that's fucked. That's fucked. Have you at least checked in on her since then to see if she's okay? Because what I worry about is the adrenaline in the moment. She may not have realized she was being abused. And then when the camera's turned off and you and the person, whoever the person was behind the camera, leaves, and she sat in that house by herself, over time, she may kind of go, oh my God, what just happened to me? And guys, that's 3 too many, Biff. That's 3 people too many. Let me guess, they're all women. So, do you believe you're divine, Biff? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen screenshots where you do say that you believe you're the second coming. What am I doing? What am I fucking doing? What am I doing? We got to get on with the thing that we started the video. We're already 20 minutes into the video. Biff. All right. See that? Not much pressure, right? See that? Pressure. You see how fucking this works? You see how that works? That's what you're doing to that woman's neck. It doesn't take a skilled fucking debunker to figure that out. Believe me, even I fucking figured it out. And if you're choking someone's neck, she was coughing her fucking guts up. We're done. I'm not reading out another one of your chats, Biff. We're done. Done. Okay? Mods, if Biff goes out of hand here, kick him out. I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust my mods here for this one. I'm not engaging with this any further. I'm not reading out anymore. No, I'm not inviting you on here. No. How's it going, John Michael? How's questions? Belief is irrelevant to the truth. It doesn't really matter what you believe in. If you are doing an investigation, it's about technique. Agreed. All right. Gonna skip down here. Rebecca K, how's it going? All right, I'm just going to start skipping down here, guys. Lincoln, how's it going? Dan Green, thanks very much for the 17 months, my friend. I'm sorry he's talking out bollocks. Yeah, talking out bollocks. Before you go doing a demonic eviction, get in writing what you're doing and do. No one should touch or choke like that. If he admitted to doing that on his live, police need to know. I don't really want to talk about this anymore because I feel like we're just feeding too much attention here. But I just want to sort of say, as a sort of blanket statement here, anyone who's here right now watching this live, or may watch it afterwards if I keep this live stream up a bit longer, just don't go putting your fucking hands on people without full fucking consent. Doesn't matter what you're fucking doing. Like, if you're going there to try and help someone and perform this and that and all the rest of it, at very least tell the person what potentially could happen. And then they can make an informed decision. But just doing this shit and then out of nowhere, just because I'll tell you right now, man, that you choking her, Biff, escalated very quickly. It didn't really build up to that. You just put your hands on her. Sig, I've come across a group from New South Wales who charges people thousands of dollars to perform spiritual cleansing and exorcism and film it for content. Could be a good one for you. Oh, please, Central Victoria Paranormal sounds right up my alley. Yeah, if you could send me the deets on that, please. Give me the details on that. I'd be very much. I'd love to hear about it. Well, I say love to hear about it. It sounds horrible, but you know what I mean. Horror, how's it going? Joe Beams, hello. Elizabeth Rodriguez, how's it going? Divine Rebel, hello. Sandra Peachy, hello. Kiwi Sloth, how's it going? Sorry if I'm missing chats here, guys. Yeah, we are going to get into the subject soon because it's a 50-minute video and I'm going to want to pause and share my thoughts. So we really should get on with this soon. I don't want other people commandeering the live stream. I'm excited about this subject. I have some thoughts about what Colin has said. I'll say this again. So we've had a few people join since then. I haven't watched. I've watched like when the premiere happened. I watched maybe like 3, 4, 5 minutes maybe, and at that moment, Colin was talking about like psychology behind ghosts, and I found it quite interesting. And then I kind of stopped watching it because I wanted to do a live reaction to and not make it as fresh to me as it possibly could be. So I stopped watching. So yeah, obviously, I would imagine it's a bit of a clickbait title. I would imagine Colin doesn't now not believe in ghosts. But yeah, we'll get into that soon. I'm just going to get down to the bottom of the chat and then we'll start watching. Let's get crack-a-lacking. Vlad, thank you very much for your one gifting membership. Another gifting membership from you, Vlad. If you got that gifting membership, please be sure I can't talk. To thank Vlad in the live chat. Thank you very much, Vlad. Appreciate you. All right, okay, let's get this going. Screen share. There it is. All right, we got over there. All right. I don't believe in ghosts anymore. Like I said, I'm going to take a wild guess and say he does believe in ghosts. That this is probably clickbait, but we'll fight. We'll figure it out. Okay. All right, guys, go grab yourself a drink, get yourself a snack. Woo! Let's get started.
Investigating the paranormal for over 11 years, and I don't believe in ghosts. Let's talk about it. So when I first started my career in the paranormal, I vividly remember going into it being very afraid because
Anyone else think Colin looks a little bit like Sam from Sam and Colby? Is that just me? Way back when? God, look how young he looked then. He's young now, though, at least by my standards.
I grew up watching shows like Ghost Adventures, and in every single episode of a show like Ghost Adventures, there's something terrifying that happens, whether one of the crew members sees an apparition down a hallway.
Not at all like Sam, really. Is that just me then? It's Sam's twin. Yeah, good. I'm glad some people agree.
Somebody hears a phantom voice, they capture a crazy fluctuation on all of their devices.
Actually, guys, I'm just going to put this, because this could be a really long live. Let me just put this on 1.5 speed. There we go.
And the way that that show presents hauntings is pretty clear. They are talking to people that died that have come back somehow. And these people, these spirits, these entities are conscious and they're very present and they can actively respond to questions. So when you grow up as a kid watching a show like that, it kind of pounds into your head this almost rigid view of the paranormal where when you head to a location like this, you're speaking to the dead and you're specifically speaking to people that died in this area. Now, Ghost Adventures, not to pinpoint them, but they also talk a lot about demons. But I was never really one to believe in the demonic. I wasn't really raised in a super religious house. I did go through confirmation in a Lutheran church. I studied the Bible, so I got my own taste of Christianity when I was younger, but it wasn't for me. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I always had problems thinking about, why a higher power would give me diabetes. And I was really angry with religion. And I was really angry, honestly, with what I also perceived at the time to be God. So I chose to not believe in any of that and also not believe in demons. Now, a lot of that changed for me as well, but
yeah, but some things might have changed since I've seen many videos where you've said demons in there. Oh, I know some of that is going to be for the algorithm. Wait a minute. Let me just change this. Yeah, I know some of that is going to be for the algorithm. And demons do better when you put them in a title. I know that. But Colin and I have talked about that because for very much the same reason he gave there, I have the same thing where I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and say I believe in ghosts, but I really want to believe in ghosts. I don't want to believe in demons. So who wants to believe in demons? I don't want to believe. I like the idea that ghosts are real. I've never understood what makes a demon. Why there's so. I mean, we all know why there's so many demons around us, particularly America, is because of fucking YouTubers. But there's some places that have claimed to have demons in at a certain location that predates YouTube even. Why a demon? Why? What's the difference between a demon and a pissed off ghost? So I don't want to say too much that was supposed to be like in private between Colin and I, but I think the demon thing, again, was he kind of came to that conclusion a bit before the rehab stuff. I know this goes without saying as well here, guys. If people want to make fun of Colin, all the rest of it, absolutely. I'm not going to tolerate anyone saying anything about his past with his alcoholism. He's not. He's clean now. That's very important to say. But I think those comments are absolutely fucking bang out of order and way below the belt. So I don't want that will not be tolerated here. Colin just did a location of something. Yeah, he just did one at the. I haven't seen it, but he just watched one at the Farrar School. Someone told me he debunked something there as well. I haven't seen it. Okay, but yeah, sorry. The point being is, like, what's the difference between a demon and a pissed off ghost? Well, yeah, I know, like, the actual. No. Sorry. I know the actual difference. What I'm trying to say is, like, what people would perceive as being demonic would I imagine being aggressive paranormal behavior, but they associate that with a demon. My point I'm trying to make, I'm not literally asking what the difference is between a pissed off ghost and a demon. I'm aware. The question I'm asking is, why do people assume or tag that on to being a demon rather than a poltergeist, for instance? If we're going to, like, open up, just for argument's sake, if we're going to say that, all things paranormal are real, I just think that's quite an interesting sort of thing. But, I think a lot of people, especially as someone like myself or Colin, who are agnostic or atheist. So for me, as an agnostic atheist, I like to sort of say, of course I'm not going to believe or even entertain the notion of demons. Why would I? I don't believe anything in the Bible. That's my belief system. If there is such a thing as ghosts, and I would love there to be, why can't all the whole demon thing just be pissed off ghosts? Why can't it just be poltergeists? Banamet, thank you very much for your $5. It's usually just cranky ghosts, not demons. If you encounter an actual demon and don't think most of these people would... Sorry, if you encountered an actual demon, I don't think most of these people would keep going back for more. Couldn't agree more. This is my thing, right? And I've made this sort of point in my videos before. Thank you again, for not only for the $5, but that's a really interesting comment I can we could dig a bit deeper in. I would imagine if there's a demon, if there are such a thing as demons anyway, first of all, they don't need us to speak for them. They should just be able to come down, hell, rain, fire, fucking pitchfork up our ass and just fucking fuck us over. Like, you know what I mean? Do whatever the hell they want with us. You're not walking out of that house, going down the pub and having a pint and sleeping well that night. You know what I mean? Like, you're fucked. Let alone when channels like Twin Paranormal, who keep going back to the same demonic places over and 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 over again. I'm like, if it was actually dangerous, you wouldn't keep doing it. You just like to say it's dangerous. Yeah. Oh, Extravagant Paints, thank you very much for your $5. What's the difference? What's the difference? Book deals, booby rides, and box office cash. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Thank you very much for your $5. All right, let's keep watching.
We're going to stay on track here. So, by the way, for people who watch the channel, usually I know that I said that I was posting every other week, but every week that we're not posting a video, like a documentary on the channel, I'm going to be doing these kind of Q&As, these videos where I'm going to sit down and talk to you guys about my thoughts on the paranormal world. So before we get into today's topic, please be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section. What is something you'd like to see me talk about? I've studied this stuff for years. I've read hundreds of books. I've worked with dozens of experts. I've done tons of different really bizarre paranormal experiments, like holding hands with a Romanian psychic in the most haunted forest on the planet and trying to summon a spirit. I've done demonic summoning ceremonies with practitioners. I've done blood rituals. I've done it all. So I would like to hear what you guys want to hear me talk about. So please leave a comment in the comment section. And if you see a comment that you think is interesting, be sure to give it a like so that I can see what you guys really would like to see me make videos on, because I could talk all day about the paranormal. And I feel like when I do my documentaries, I never really get to actually explain my thinking and talk to you guys like this in a more informal.
And I'll read this back a little bit. Romanian, what was that? Romanian psychic in a haunted forest. I've got to find out which video that is.
Formal way. So yeah, leave a comment, like the video, it doesn't hurt. Let's talk about it. So back to what I was saying. When I was growing up, I was watching Ghost Adventures. I was reading tons of books. I read all the books by Ed and Lorraine Warren in middle school. I watched tons of documentaries, and I watched every TV show about haunted places you can imagine. I remember specifically, I don't know if you guys remember the show. I think it was like The Scariest Places in America or something like that on Travel Channel, where they would just go to the spookiest locations they could find and then tell the stories and do reenactments. It's kind of a cheesy, like early 2000s TV show, but I loved it. I also watched Blast from the Past, the show Lost Tapes on Animal Planet. I don't know if anyone remembers that one, where each week they would take a different cryptid and make like a found footage horror movie about that cryptid. There was an episode about a lake octopus in Oklahoma of that show that really scared the hell out of me. It still gives me the willies when I'm on lakes thinking about that. That's how much it scarred me back then. But yeah, growing up like that and diving into this world, I thought ghosts were strict.
Can I just say, there was a few shows in the UK. A lot of those shows, I don't think we had. What was he saying? Sightings? Is that the one he said? I know that one because that's a big one. That I think that if that's the one, maybe someone can confirm if I got that right. That was the one that made the Sally House the big deal that it is now. Was it called Sightings? He just said the name and I can't remember what it was. I don't think we got that one in the UK. Mike O, thank you very much for your gifted membership. If you got that gifted membership, please be sure to thank Mike O in the live chat. Appreciate you. Agony, that's exactly the show I was going to say. Strange but true. Scared the crap out of me as a kid. Loved it. So this was like one in the... And actually, Strange but True has a special place in my heart because the one paranormal, I suppose you could call it, or at least experience that, I suppose I debunked myself for it, but I want to believe was paranormal, came from watching a Strange but True episode. I've told this story on my channel before. As a kid, I must have been like 12 or 11 or 12 or something like that. Hey, how's it going? Debunk the junk. And then through watching this show, I went over to me, my brother, my mum, and my dad. My dad didn't believe any of the stuff, but the three of us believed in it at the time. My mum still believes in all things paranormal, psychics, the lot, believes in the lot. We went to the underground tunnels at Dover Castle. And I've tried to go back in there like an hour as an adult, and they're like, nah, like we don't let anyone film there. It's, because it was used as a World War II hospital, especially when the D-Day landings happened. A lot of the injured and dying were kind of shipped back to Dover, and you know they were underwent treatments. In this, but like in this underground hospital, so it's considered like a historically protected place. But the TV show Strange but True said that there was a sighting of a man dressed in World War II attire who is probably a ghost. Well, a ghost. And me, my mum, and my brother to this day think we saw that when we went there. Now, there's a whole bunch of psychological things going on there. Where we went there wanting to see something. My mum may have influenced us in, because we were young and young minds, impressionable young minds, and we, there's a lot going on there. But I still see what I think I saw. My mum agrees with my accounts of it. My brother, who's a few years younger than me, his is a little bit different. Similar, but the some of the details are a bit different. But yeah, Strange but True holds like a special place in my heart. And another one that holds a special place in my heart is Ghost Watch. British people will know what I'm talking about with Ghost Watch, right? Ghost Watch was fucking brilliant. I've always wanted to do like a video about Ghost Watch, but that influenced me so much, I think, as a kid. Like, I mean, I'll say I was a kid. How old? But that was 92? No. When was Ghost Watch out? I don't know. I was like a young teenager anyway, or a tween. Tonto, thank you very much for your $4.99. Really appreciate you. Thank you. If demons were real, it would mean all the other stuff in the Bible is real, but ghosts being real would just prove ghosts are are real, not God necessarily. Yeah, I mean, like even there's another thing I never really understood about religion. I'm sure a religious person could explain this to me. Is like the idea of ghost is supposed to be like heresy, right? But then they have the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I never really understood what the Holy Ghost is supposed to be, but they say the word ghost in the Bible. But that's interesting. Thank you. Thank you for another $10. Really appreciate you. Thank you for another donation of $10 this time. Seg, Video series idea. I watch a lot of dramatic reenactment, haunted TV series, aka haunting, etc. Which the ones where some people went on multiple shows and their haunted stories changed. That would be really interesting. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I will look into that. If you got any ideas for me, please just DM me with them. Yeah. Debunk the junk. I sometimes wonder how. Thank you again, Extravagant Paints, for the $10. Really appreciate you. Thank you. I sometimes wonder how many high-profile paranormal creators would suddenly become much more careful, or even change their position if there were real accountability, such as claim. 100%. Yes. God, imagine what Ghost Adventures would become if Zach was held accountable for the shit he had to say. People always assume if the Bible says something, it's all or nothing. It's simply not the case. There is so much more in between. Okay. All right. Okay. Try and get down to the bottom. Sorry if I'm going to miss some chats here. I'm Bacon. How's it going? If he had a difficult experience with Christianity, that's his personal life. I'll ask it. All I ask, is that he conducts his investigation as scientifically as possible and debunk everything. Agreed. Theology trained here, Seg, not necessarily a heretic. If you believe in ghosts and are a Christian, that's only a very specific slice of Christianity that believes that. Okay. Quite a big section of, isn't that the Catholic Church? Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, isn't that just all the Catholics? Aren't Catholics like the biggest strain of Christianity? Don't they occupy the biggest slice of that Christianity pie chart? I don't know. Seg, you do not want to open the can of worms. That is the Trinity, because a lot of denominations have. Okay, that's a fair point. I'm not educated in it. That's a fair point. Saying that's correct. Lots of spirit stuff in the Bible, and the Western culture has chosen to ignore most spiritual because they associate with evil. Interesting. Not a documentary TV series, but a cool TV series. Has anyone here watched the Tales of the Unexpected? That was creepy as fuck. Is that? That's not the one written by Roald Dahl, is it? Like his adult stuff. The Tales of the Unexpected. Trying to find it. Wikipedia. Yeah, Roald Dahl, or presented by Roald Dahl. Based on stories by Roald Dahl. Yeah, I'm good. I know these things. I got fucking culture. I understand culture. The Holy Ghost is supposed to be a third party, not flesh and bone. Well, I assume that it's called a ghost. The Holy Ghost is supposed to help us know God and guide us. At least that's what my Roman Catholic granny said. Oh, okay. So I mean, now that, aren't they all? None of them are flesh and blood, though, so they're all kind of like ghosts, right? In as much as they're not flesh and blood. But I know what people are going to say, like they're deities. If you're a Holy Ghost, though, you're a deity, right? Right? Oh, I don't fucking know. Thanks very much for sharing that, Sarah. Appreciate that. Yeah, please sign the petition, guys. Really appreciate it. So, Seg, Holy Ghost is the spiritual communication from God the Father through Jesus Christ to humankind, meaning someone not seen but filled with a spiritual message or presence. An angel? Is the Holy Ghost the angels? Sounds like angels to me. No, there are Christian denominations that believe in the Trinity as well. Some think that the Father, Son, Holy Spirit is one union. Yes, okay, and another denomination is three separate things. Okay, yeah, all right. And they should all kill each other to figure out who's right. Sorry. No, you're right. Debunk me. I'm not cultured. I grew up as a Catholic who believed in ghosts. Now I neither practice nor believe. I want ghosts to be real, but I've debunked all my own encounters on one. I just want to quickly say that's a good point. Thank you, Sid. I think it's very important for me to say we really got to get back on with the video. We're going to be here forever. I support everyone's right to whatever your belief system. I even have this with ghosts. I'm like, hey, I'm not here to sort of say to people, don't believe in ghosts. I'm not even here to tell people, don't watch this channel. If you want to, if you have a certain religious belief that brings you peace and happiness and makes sense of this crazy fucking world, I don't want to take that away from anyone. I don't want to shit on that for anyone. I'm happy to debate it. I'm happy to talk about it, but I'll try my best. I mean, I think there's some times where it's open to scrutinize, criticize, and even mock, especially when it comes into, when it affects people right now, today. You know what I mean? Like, so for instance, if we're talking about like the most obvious one being like gay rights, your religion is going to, much like how a lot of religious people would like heavily criticize and hurt the feelings of gay people. I think you have to also make yourself open that you're going to get criticized in that debate. You can't have your feelings protected, but then go ahead and potentially hurt the feelings of others. You know what I mean? Much like how Colin earlier said, like, with his diabetes and some of the things he's happened in his life, religion makes some very, very big promises. So you have to like be open to scrutiny with that. However, I will say, if it helps you, crack on. I'm not here to try and convert anyone away from their religious beliefs or, whatever makes you happy. Great. Tony, thank you for another donation of $4.99. Really appreciate you. Thank you. As an agnostic atheist myself, this makes no sense to me and kind of hurts my head. I got to admit, it kind of hurts my head too. And I find it kind of interesting because, like, even the religions, obviously, Muslims and Jews and Buddhists or whatever, they're going to strongly disagree with pretty much everything Christians say. But even within Christianity, they very much disagree with each other. So, I mean, I know this is the same with Jews and Muslims. I know all religions have subcategories within their own religion that strongly disagree with each other, and it can lead to, like, historically anyway, pretty catastrophic results. But yeah, thanks very much for the $4.99 and Extravagant Pain. Thank you for another $5. Thank you. Literal holy wars were fought over the question, what is the Holy Ghost? That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Thank you for that. All right, how far behind the channel? My 3 minutes. All right, I'm just going to kind of skip down to the bottom. Hey, how's it going, Riker? In Mormonism, they teach you as a kid that the Holy Ghost is pretty much your conscience. So moral good thoughts equal Holy Ghost, bad thoughts equal Satan. Satan. Beliefs can be a devilishly tricky thing. I'd rather have good ideas that I can be tested, challenged, and changed when the evidence demands it. Agreed. Seg, can I send you a clip of the shadow figure we captured? Yeah, send away. Yeah, absolutely. Send away. So could you look up life/death concept? The egg is only a 30-minute or so. It's good. Everyone else too. Okay, yeah, we'll check that out. Just a crazy gen. Ecology, I think it's fascinating. The difference in people's beliefs. Basic human instinct is self-preservation, survival. So it's basically whatever makes you feel safe/secure. While also, yes. Oh, wait a minute. Is there a second half of that? Preparing for the worst case scenario. Couldn't agree more. Say, very interesting. Thank you. Masato K, thank you very much for your $2. Just because say you're the man. You're the man or female? Female, that's okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. Let's carry on. Thank you very much for your $2.
The spirits of the dead, and that was it. I've talked about this many times. My parents, anywhere we'd go, whether it was somewhere in Massachusetts or even in California, if a town that we visited on vacation had a ghost tour, we would take that tour. And for me, at a young age, that obviously caused me to become very, very fascinated with the paranormal. And that's kind of a lot of what influenced me going into this career later in life, having spent the last, now at this point, 11 years investigating the paranormal. I mean, it's just crazy. But over time, things have changed. I'm going to explain that towards the end of this. When I was in high school, I lived in a haunted house, and I've told this story many times before. I did a whole documentary on it years ago on the channel. Basically, my family built a house in South Dakota on land that had never been built on before. It was just basically an open plot. And the very first day that we moved into our house, we started experiencing paranormal activity. And my sister was the first one to experience it. It wasn't me. My mom and dad and I left to go get more boxes from our old house that we were moving to the new one. My sister.
I just want to say I find it interesting. Like, if you're prone to believing, if you are a believer in ghosts, I would say you're going to be very prone to attributing activity to being paranormal. Not necessarily saying that activity, I mean, the activity isn't paranormal until it's proven to be paranormal. And then we got the whole debate of how can you prove that, understand. But at the same time, I didn't fucking experience what Colin experienced. So I don't know. But I will just say, I think it's interesting that, the whole family, and we know this because Colin brings his family along to a lot of his videos, his investigations, and they do all strongly believe in the paranormal. So I guess it's not overly surprising that they would attribute whatever happened in that house to being paranormal. Avi Stevie, thank you very much for your 29 months. That is crazy. 29 months. Thank you so much. Time flies by. Let's go, Seg and Ways. SEGways. Thank you very much, mate. I appreciate you.
Stayed behind. By the time we got back to our house with those boxes, my sister was trying to escape from the window of the house because she swore that she heard men in the kitchen talking, moving plates around. She had locked herself in her bedroom. And obviously, when you have this happen and it's the first day of you moving into a brand new house, you're kind of like, okay, well, that's strange. Our minds didn't immediately jump to haunting, but things changed, and they changed pretty quickly. We were only in the house a few months before stuff started to get really scary. And there was one particular night where I was in my bed and I thought I heard my mom in the kitchen, and I think I asked her something like, can you bring me this? Or, hey mom, can you do this? Whatever. And she said, yeah, I'll be right there, or something like that. It was her voice. So I thought it was her. I then heard what I thought was my mom walk down the hallway to my bedroom. And as soon as she got to the door, the footsteps went all the way to my open doorway. No one came around the corner. It just got silent. I'm like, Mom? And then all of a sudden, it sounded like something dropped on all fours and started scurrying around my bed on the carpet, like back. And it was so funny. It was so scary. And I got up and screamed, like, Mom, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing? And I'm freaking out. And I looked over my bed and the sound stopped. And my mom that was not my mom. She was in her bedroom sleeping at the time. My sister came out of her room, which was across the hall. Like, what are you talking about? What's happening? And to me, that was incredibly frightening. I also had in that same house, I mean, we had dozens.
I mean, that's pretty fucked up. I can't help but think, wouldn't it be really funny if that was a giant prank? Sorry. I know Colin's family probably wouldn't play a prank on him like that as a kid, but it would be kind of funny if it was a prank.
Dozens of things that were really scary. We had the front door would open by itself. All of our alarms would go off, like fire alarms in the middle of the night. I've got videos of it. The scariest thing I think that happened to me was I woke up in the middle of the night, and through my window, you could see like moonlight coming through. There was a man standing there with a wide brimmed hat, like a fully inky black shadow man. And he was staring at me. And as I stared at him, he slowly started to float towards my bed. I get chills talking about it now. And it just kept getting closer and closer, and I couldn't move. I had sleep paralysis. I was literally paralyzed. I couldn't move. And at the very last second before he got to me, I was able to break the paralysis and turn my lamp on. And when the light came on, this figure was gone. So it wasn't a happy haunting at all. It was actually really scary. I had a lot of friends that wouldn't come over to my house anymore after they had experiences. I couldn't sleep. My sister couldn't sleep. My parents were like really concerned. And it was a thing too where my sister and I were telling my mom and dad about everything that was going on in the house. And at first they're like, okay, well, that's interesting. You know, brand new house. I don't know why that would be happening. And then stuff started to happen to them. And then they started believing us, like really believing us. And eventually it got so bad we had to call psychics in to do a cleansing. And this wasn't for a video. This wasn't anything but a legitimate case and something that happened to us. And the three psychics, one of them was a family friend, and she brought two other friends that were also psychic. They showed up with these big fur coats on. It was like something out of a movie, and they went room to room in the house. Donna, who you might have seen on the channel, she was a very good friend of ours. She felt like there were different spirits in every part of the house and that there was some sort of a portal on the property. And they tried to talk to these entities, these energies. They tried to get them to move on. And it, and at first we thought that it happened. We thought that they were gone. There was that night, it was a night or two before my birthday in December. And that night after the cleansing, I had friends come over and we were all downstairs having a sleepover playing video games. And it sounded like someone on our downstairs window banged the window so loud. It would scare the shit out of everybody. Everyone was screaming. My parents came running downstairs thinking maybe we broke something or, something happened. It was so loud, it woke them up. This was at like 2, 3 a.m. in the middle of the night. And there's no explanation. Then the next day when we went out to my favorite restaurant to get like my birthday lunch, the group of psychics, Donna and her two friends, they were there eating at the same restaurant. And that's freaky by itself. But when we talked to them before we said anything, they said, did you guys hear something on your window 2, 3 a.m.? And we're like, yeah. And they said, yeah, we all heard that at the same time. That's why we're here talking about this. So to me, we also lost all of our power that night. Completely freak accident. We don't know why it went down. All of our Wi-Fi, nothing would turn on. I mean, it was crazy. To us, we thought that was the end of the haunting. And a few months passed really and nothing happened. But you still had that really creepy feeling inside of the house where it was like, I'm not alone. And it just didn't feel comfortable in there. It didn't really feel like a home. There was something really, really wrong with that house. And soon enough, stuff started to happen again. There was one day when I was talking to someone on the phone in my bedroom, and I heard a baby go like do a baby cry next to my bed. And the person I was on the phone with was like, "Are you with a baby right now?" Or like, "What was that?" And I'm like, once again gives me chills. I was like, I have no clue. I heard that too, though. It was definitely a baby. And then I was in high school at the time, so I was at drumline practice, and my mom and sister were at home. And when I came back home, they told me before I told them anything that they heard a baby making that cooing sound echoing from downstairs of the house up to the second floor because we had a basement. That already was freaky enough. But then my dad, and this is once again something out of a movie that like you can't even make up. So then we're all sitting there talking about this noise. Everyone's like freaked out. And my dad comes home from work. He comes in through the garage and he goes, does somebody have like a baby toy out there? Because I just heard a baby like crying out in the garage. And all of us, our jaws just dropped and we're like, holy shit, sit down. We have to tell you about this right now. That to me was one of the freakiest things because a baby, like no one has a baby. Like my sister and I were in middle school and high school. We don't have baby toys that would be making noises. And it happened in 3 different parts of the house, my bedroom, and then completely disconnected the main kitchen area and the basement. And then my dad heard it in the garage with the door shut to the house. So yeah, stuff like that kept happening. And there was one time when my dad was home alone and he heard someone run across our kind of open floor plan all the way from my bedroom up to his bedroom door. It was like stomping footsteps, like all the way to his door. And he screamed, jumped out of bed. He ran into his closet and pulled out his gun. He's got a pistol for self-defense. And he called me. It was like 1, 2 in the morning. He called me to tell me he was walking around the house. He thinks someone broke in. He heard someone run up to the door. Like he didn't know what was going to happen. So he just wanted to tell me. And that was like a really scary cold call to get because once again, I thought, could this be a ghost or is this a human? And no one had broken in. None of the doors were open. The whole alarm system was on. So that stuff just really continued happening to us until we moved out of the house. And still to this day, I do not feel like it ever left. Like my parents in their new house have had tons of stuff happen to them. They've heard men just like talking in their house. They've seen the shadow figure at one point that was standing in a hallway. There's just a ton of unexplainable stuff that's happened to them. And same with my wife, Courtney, and I. In our house in Houston, Texas, we've had a ton of stuff happen. And I used to have my collection of haunted objects in here.
See, this is my thing. I know he's going to probably talk about attachments or attachment on himself or haunted objects, but I do think there's a thing that if you're really susceptible, believe in the paranormal, it's very common for you just to assume things that sound weird, you don't really know. The rest of us would probably just kind of go, oh, what was that? Oh, no, nothing. But for someone who believes in the paranormal, it's going to be, what the fuck was that? What? You know what I mean? They're going to be far more on edge with this sort of stuff. Because, like, you know, he went from, like, his childhood home being haunted to now the home he lives at with his wife being haunted. And I don't know, it's just it's a lot of hauntings. A lot of hauntings. and Extravagant Paints, thank you so much for another $10. Very, very kind of you today. Thank you so much. Spooky or ghostly encounters are so easily explained by sleep mode brain. Noises or voices are often instances where the brain is missorting air conditioner, fan noises, running water too. That's very interesting. And someone earlier mentioned sleep paralysis as well. I think that's a huge part of it as well.
And I had to move them out after a while to a storage unit because we had so much stuff happening in the home that Courtney was getting freaked out when I was traveling for trips. But even after we moved the stuff out, we still had a ton of really, really bizarre stuff happen here. Even my sister lives in California. She's had stuff happen to her. Like when my grandma passed away a few years ago, she woke up that night when she passed, her bed was shaking. And I can't remember, but she heard somebody say something to her. I can't remember the exact wording, but she thinks that was my grandma talking to her. And it really freaked her out. And so we all had those experiences back in like 2012, 2013. And we've continued to have those experiences after we've moved out of the house. And the cleansing didn't work. So what do we make of that? Back when I first was living in that house, my mom and I went down to the courthouse in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We went through with historians, property deeds, documents dating back to the 1800s, literally in the courthouse. And they were able to determine that there was a pioneer family that had lived on our land. And the mother and daughter in the family had death and burial records, but the father and son had neither. And so what they told us at the courthouse was that it's possible that the father and son could be buried somewhere on that land. This was before there was really an established city cemetery. It was the Wild West pioneer days. They thought that they might have just buried these people, the father and son. They could have died somehow. They thought they could have buried them somewhere on our property. But, you know, it was so long ago that all those records were largely lost or forgotten. And interestingly, before we brought Donna the psychic in, before any of that, before it got really bad, Donna had actually cold called my mom out of the blue one day. And this was so freaky to us. She had no idea what was going on in the home. She called my mom like 2 months after we moved in and basically told her, hey, I was checking out the new house. Wow, it's beautiful. But I got to say, I feel like two male energies in the home, two male spirits. So I don't know if that makes sense to you, but that's just what I felt when I drove by. And so her telling us that, and then a month, 2 months, however many months later, my mom and I going down to the courthouse and them saying there was potentially two men buried somewhere on the property, that to me was an instant connection. Then back then I thought, okay, so now we've got these two people that were buried on this land. It had never been built on before. We built this new house, disturbed the land, and we even used some devices back then, like Donna.
How? So they found out. So they found out that there were people buried on the land after the building was built, but they didn't know. Is that what? Did I miss something there? Is that my understanding? Because if you didn't know that someone was that people were buried there before you built it, then why would you like? Is it the hauntings that made you dig deeper into that, and then you discovered there were two people buried in there? I might have to ask him about that. I don't know what's going on there.
Had like a really old school ovilus, like one of the original ovilus devices. And she was using that and we were using that as we were doing this psychic reading walkthrough cleansing of the home. And it was telling us things like disturbed, angry, whatever. It sounded like these spirits were angry that this house had been built and the land had been disturbed. And so that was the story that I always kind of told and that I believed in. And that I thought that was it. She said two men are in the documents. They're giving us things about not liking all the dirt being moved. That was one big thing. They talked about dirt. And there were still mountains of dirt on the property from the builders. So we thought that was the solution. That was the answer to our pressing question of what was in our house and what energy was in the home. Years later now, when reanalyzing the story, I tend to believe that it was something much darker and much more incomprehensible. Because no shade to Donna. I mean, I believe her fully that there were human spirits in the home. But if that theory she had about the portal was true, and there's so much that went into the story too. Animals that would die on the property. We had birds running into our windows almost every day. And that's actually part of the story because when we heard that bang downstairs that one night after the cleansing, we thought maybe it was like a bird that flew into the window. It had just snowed. This was December in South Dakota. We had looked outside. There was no dead bird. There was nothing. There was no mark on the window. We would have seen it. It wasn't there. So we were able to debunk that right away back then. We had deer.
Is this something that Omar did? Because I'll say this. Has Colin ever done... Funny enough, it's funny we're talking about this, actually. I've only just covered a video of about ghost hunters using their own locations, their own homes as a location to film for videos. So it's funny we're talking about this with Colin right now, where he's saying the same thing. But I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, he's done so many videos. Has he ever done a video where it's at his house or his childhood home? Has he ever done that before? Like filmed a video investigating those places? PBR John, thank you very much for your 17 months. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sorry, Seg, my dad has just passed away. Johan. Oh my God, I'm really sorry to hear that. My absolute condolences, PBR. John, I should just say. Can we get some love hearts in the chat, some condolence messages for John here? I'm really sorry to hear that, mate. I'm really sorry to hear that. I hope it was hope he passed away peacefully. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, mate. I really am. Say, speaking of all this, any updates of bringing professional academic skeptics on investigations? I've got to get on investigation first. Academic skeptics. Don't know, does Kenny Biddle count? Yeah, I've got to look into that a bit more. What exactly do we mean? What qualifies you to be like an academic skeptic? Like someone who has an education in EMF energy kind of thing? Someone who has, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Do you know how many times we've heard the bird hit the window here? It actually flew away before. Funny you should say that. Where I moved into, I have a magpie that won't stop. I mean, he does hit the window, but he just almost every day, like I would say like 80% of the days, he sits on like my outdoor my outdoor furniture and flies up to my window. I got like those sort of like French sliding door type things, and just sort of tap. He hits the window. It's quite loud, and then he flies back, and he does that several times. He just repeats that motion. He's hitting the window. I mean, it's not like in is it the movie The Birds where they smash into a window and break their own neck kind of thing. Is my house haunted? Is that what they mean? Does that mean it's haunted? Yes, I think he did. In his video, he made it like 3 4. Oh, okay, then before he moved out. Okay. Yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that, Johan. Thank you, everyone, for sending your love over. Mason, that was me too. It's not like by my neighbor Dave. All right.
Deer that would be crossing into our yard, jumping over the fence, and we have multiple times had a deer impale itself on our fence and die, and we just walk outside and there's a dead deer carcass, blood everywhere. It was impaled.
Multiple times they've had a deer impale itself. Is that common? Americans? Does that happen? That's crazy.
And its leg was broken. It was truly gruesome. But there was definitely something malignant there. Back then, we had just like...
How's it going, Crow?
Some random stuff happened in our family. Everybody had kind of a glum attitude when we moved into the house. And so I believe that because there was just a bad event, something that happened in our family that wasn't good back then, at around that time that we moved in, I believe that our energy was low and something globbed onto that and something was attracted to that, or some things. And I was in high school at the time. Like, I got bullied in high school. I had tons of stuff happen to me in high school that was not the best. So I also didn't have the best mental health back then. A lot of us were just kind of going through it when we first moved into the house. And I've looked at this now, and I now believe that this was something else. Because let's be honest here. Think about the stories I just told you. I don't think that a human spirit is going to impersonate my mom's voice, come to my door, and then crawl around on all fours violently around my bed. That's just not going to happen. I don't think a human spirit is going to appear to me wearing a wide-brimmed hat and slowly float towards me with just this feeling of dread and evil that washes over my body.
Wait a minute, didn't Colin said earlier he doesn't believe in demons? Am I missing something here?
I don't think that's a human spirit. There were tons of other things too. I mean, my dad practically getting chased.
Like, if it's not a human spirit, it's not going to be a fucking cat spirit that's doing all that stuff. Oh, mind you, remember the whole all fours thing? Maybe it is. But, like, you know, he must be alluding to a demon.
Through the house, baby noises. I mean, we had so many things too, stuff that would fly off the shelves. My friend was staying at my house one night in high school, and he was in my bedroom, and I had this mask that I bought in Mexico on the wall that was like representing Satan. And this mask flew off the wall at him. It didn't fall to the ground. It flew off at him. He started screaming, and I came into the room. He hadn't touched it. And it was like 5-6 feet from the wall. So you could see it hadn't fallen. It was practically thrown. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. God, why can't this ever happen to me? Why does this never happen to me? God damn it.
The vibe was not like a human that had passed that wanted to communicate. It was more along the lines of something that was really trying to scare us, that didn't like us. Things that were, I mean, the thing that was walking towards me, slowly gliding towards me. I don't know what it wanted, but it was just not good. And so we'll get back to that in a second. So to go back to the topic of, I don't necessarily believe in ghosts. So when I started my paranormal journey, I went all in. At first, I couldn't afford to actually book out all the locations or buy all the crazy gear. So I was just going to abandoned locations with like a flashlight and a cheap voice recorder and trying to make something happen. And I had tons of experiences back then that were more physical and more interesting. But as the years have gone on, obviously
Thank you so much for coming to member Pinky. Oh, where'd he go? Welcome back to the Saturday Guy Shit Show, Pinky. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Paranormal has exploded. Like back when I started doing like legitimate serious ghost hunts on YouTube, people just weren't doing that and getting a lot of attention. I know that there have been a lot of great ghost hunting teams that have been posting on YouTube even way before me, but I mean, the people that were popular in the paranormal at the time, it wasn't like a serious, let's use equipment and sit down and try to communicate type of vibe. No shade to anybody, but that just wasn't there. When I started, it was before Sam and Colby had started ghost hunting. It was before Twin Paranormal had started ghost hunting. It was before anybody, Exploring with Josh, my boy, before any of them had really started doing these investigations. So
notice how he didn't say my boy to Sam and Colby or Twin Paranormal. Just saying.
I was paving a new path alongside some other great people and trying to do things differently and seriously. And so after a while, when the channel started to grow, I was then able to invest in better equipment and new devices. And as the years have gone on and on, so many more people have gotten interested in the field and have gotten into the field, and they've developed all these devices. And I've always been one that has been down to try any method of communication. And I know a lot of people hate devices. I mean, the paranormal is a very divided field. There are some people that love a certain device, others that hate it. Those same people that hate that device might love another device, and the people that love that other device might hate that new device.
Right.
So to me, it doesn't really matter. The paranormal is about you. At the end of the day, the paranormal is a very personal topic because, yeah, I can go out there and try to use these devices and try to capture stuff on camera and show it to you guys, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I could be sitting here, and for people who don't believe in the paranormal, they might think every video of mine has strings pulling doors shut and people off in the corner making noises. That's not true. But what I'm trying to get across to you is that a video is at the end of the day just...
Sometimes it's true. Sometimes it happens.
A video. For me, I've seen videos that have incredible evidence. I've experienced some mind-blowing things, and I've captured a lot of stuff on camera.
Oh, wait a minute. Just quickly. Angie, thank you so much for your $10. Really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. I've been investigating since I was 13 with my dad's group. 32 years later, I have never experienced even a small fraction of the things he's talking about. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, like, I can't say I've not experienced it. This is the thing. I talked earlier, like, you know, when I was a kid, I might have even saw a full-bodied apparition, even though there's very, very strong psychological reasons on how that could be debunked. Granted, absolutely. The scream, I've had a few knocks and bangs which freak me the fuck out in certain places. One of which, funny enough, is Phantomet right here. I do not like dowsing rods, Phantomet, and you know that full well, Lindsay. But like a place that Lindsay and I have both been to, what's it called? The Mitzvah Hotel. Fuck all happened that night apart from one extremely loud knock, and I can't figure out what that was. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say nothing happened, but it's not, you're right, it's not as extreme as some of the things that Colin said. The scream at, what's that fucking place called? Washoe Club, the old Washoe Club. That was really weird. I think there's logical explanations behind them, but they if you compile them up, they do start getting a bit weird. Absolutely. But yeah, you've had significantly more experience doing this than I have at the same time, so that's interesting for sure. But thank you very much for your $10. Really appreciate you. I'd argue the paranormal's about the ghost, not necessarily you. Yes, I would agree with that for sure. Sometimes I feel bummed out. I never experienced paranormal stuff, but then I remember it instantly starts to question my brain and turn into a paranoid schizophrenic. Jesus, yeah, that's that. Oh, Christ. I fucking hate dowsing rods so much. I really do. I think they might. I don't know. Are they the worst? Everyone right now, tell me your least favorite device. Your least favorite paranormal device. What's the one that drives you? I know what Crow's is going to be. What's the one that drives you up the wall the most? Dowsing rods might be. Oh, Boo Bear's a good one. Should talk to Colby about that. He likes kicking them about. The Kinect, yeah, the SLS cam, right? DR60, REM pod. They're bullshit. Lindsay, they are bullshit. Cat balls, very good one. Spirit box. I think there's a few people that might say spirit box. Fair enough. They're all BS. Yep. Yeah, that stupid bear. So I'm going to take that as like spirit box as well. Yes, this. All you have to do is dowsing rods and take a video in slow motion. You can easily see that you tilt them yourself. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's not intentional. It's like the slightest movement in your wrist or fingers or hands like will make it happen. A lot of DR60. A lot of anything EMF. Yeah, fair enough. The dead bell. I was going to say the dead bell, and then Giselle comes in with the dead bell. Spirit box. All of them. All of them. DR60. Spirit box. Yeah, fucking bell. Just because you never had an experience, that means fuck all. I never had sex with a porn star. Does not mean it never happens. I mean, it probably never happened to you. Let's face it. But it means something, though. You can't say because I haven't experienced something that means nothing. It means something. Anyway, yeah, okay. I see where you're coming from, but I don't at the same time. Ghost box, yeah. Spirit box, dead bell, REM pod, DR60, dead bell, DR60, cat ball, spirit talker, spirit box, all of them. Dead bell, necrophonic, yeah, or any of the apps. Spirit talker app, yeah. There's been a few app ones. Yeah, Spirit Box. I think Spirit Box might be the worst for me. It's the radio. Proving demons. Oh, devices. Yeah, SLS. You have the sound effects. Spirit Box. Oh, yeah, the farting bear. My discount Boo Bear. I love the farting bear too. It's just a motion detector. It cost me $12 or something like that. Do you know how? And this is another thing as well. How expensive a lot of these devices are. The dead bell's crazy expensive. Crazy expensive. I think one of the reasons why a lot of people use the spirit box is by, next to a lot of the others, it's significantly cheaper. But the Boo Bear. I mean, you're looking at, in Australian dollars anyway, you're looking at like $300 to $400. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's another. I guess that's another thing with the what are they called? I just like dowsing rods. They're cheap. Moths, just moths. There is no scientific literature anywhere that suggests any ghost hunting. Oh yeah, absolutely. But there's no scientific literature anywhere to suggest that ghosts are real. We all still try, don't we? Myself included. Mm-hmm. Don't. Thank you very much for your another $5 from me. Appreciate you. Thank you very much, my friend. When I was a bit younger, I used an app to try and talk to my sister who died. Was very disappointed and felt gullible as fuck. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your sister. This is a kind of like some of the problem with these sort of things. We're led to believe that if you get these devices, you might be able to talk to loved ones. And I don't know, sometimes I think some people can struggle with the grieving process when they can get a little bit too deep into this stuff. I've seen that happen in other videos, so you know. But I'm sorry to hear about your sister, mate. I had sex with a girl. Look at Joe Vitale showing off here. Woo! Look who's had sex with a female. I don't think I'm allowed to say female. Look who had sex with a woman. We'll say woman. We won't say girl because, God, fucking hell, everything is a landmine these days. I had sex with a woman. I'm assuming. I went to school with. Oh no, okay, so it wasn't. Okay, so it was when. Okay, just to make sure, I think Joe's talking about when he was maybe a boy himself. Joe, Jesus fucking Christ, you don't make this easy. I had sex with a girl and went to school with, and she became a porn star. Woo, Joe! Crow and I had a conversation with her one night. It was fucking crazy. What? Did I just fall down a black hole? Why did you? What? Thanks for sharing, Joe. We're all better off now having that bit of information. Anyway, we got so much of Colin's video to watch. Dowsing rods. Oh, Ouija boards. That's a good show. I think you might be the first person to say that, or at least I've seen. Ashley Williams, how's it going? Hey, Seg, been watching you a while and love what you do. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I've heard you call yourself a dick before. I want to let you know that you're doing what's right, even if you stand alone. Doesn't make you a dick. It's just a British self-deprecating way. That's what we do. We just call ourselves a dick or a knob. But I appreciate you. Thank you very much for saying those kind words. Believe me, for every person that says a kind word, I've got like about 50 people lined up in this chat alone waiting to call me a dick. Like I said, as soon as I come into the chat, I was about sex with a porn star. See? Case in point. John Michael. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
Camera. But that really doesn't matter in the context of the paranormal, because what the paranormal is about experience. So I'm sure you at home, you've had something happen to you, which has drawn you to watching paranormal content, because most paranormal experiences are not documented or captured on camera. They're random. They happen at the weirdest times. You're never expecting them, and they don't last very long, but they do happen. You have to think about throughout the course of time and history, how many millions and millions of ghost stories have been told. Not even stories that have been written down. I'm just talking about stories that have been passed down. I mean, everybody's family has a ghost story. Even if you don't believe in ghosts, you might have an uncle who swears he's seen spirits walking around his house, or you might have an aunt.
I will say this is quite an interesting point, because I've said this before. I want to believe in ghosts, but I'm not so sure I do. But there are fucking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of ghost stories around. Some very well documented, others are just fables, just old wives' tales. All you need is one of them to be true out of the million, just one. And I think the majority of the time it will just be people having stuff up. Like, you know, they might have just heard like a sort of like scratch or a knock or something like that. And then when they retell the story, it becomes like it becomes an old wives' tale to the point where they see a full-bodied apparition reaching out to them and trying to, I don't know, jerk them off if you're Joe Vitale or something like that. But all we do need is just one of those ghost stories to be true. That's all we need. The likelihood is none of them are true, but maybe, just maybe. Dawson, how's it going, Dawson? Hope you're well, my friend. G'day.
Who felt like she was visited by your grandmother on the evening that your grandmother died before it was announced that your grandma had passed. You know, those are stories that are passed down through families, and those exist in almost virtually every family. So that's, to me, where I think the paranormal exists. I think if you love the paranormal and you're very interested in it, you're going to love paranormal content, obviously. But there is a limit, because I can show you everything, and still, that's not a personal experience for you. And that's where I think a lot of people get tripped up, because they've never had a personal experience. So when they watch any sort of paranormal content, they just laugh at it or say, that's just stupid, or they have their own opinions. And that's totally.
Tone, thank you very much for your $4.99. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the love, everyone. I was 5 and she was 14 when she died. Seen her collapse in the hallway. PTSD is rough. Fuck, man, that's got to, that, oh my God. At 5. Yeah, wow. I'm sorry to hear that, my friend. I'm really sorry to hear that. But just so you know, you don't have to feel like gullible or to be fooled and all the rest of it, that you thought that the equipment could have given you some answers, man. Like, it really isn't. There's so many promises, big promises made by so many psychics or ghost hunters or YouTube channels and whatever. Like, it's understandable that you're going to try to do, you know what I mean? That's very understandable that you're going to try and go down those avenues to get answers. It really is very understandable. But you don't have to feel bad about that. You don't have to feel foolish or anything like that. Seriously, man. But yeah, absolutely my condolences. At 5 years old, I couldn't imagine. Meme Express, thank you so much for your $1.99. Thank you so much. Seg sees precious demons is stay alive. Oh, you bastards. Thanks for that. Yeah, I've never had, but yeah, I've never had that happen, Seg. But apparently at Haunted Hill House, here we go again, a ghost of a person who never existed likes to give hand jabs. As in, like a jab? Or did you mean to push O where you pushed A? And which room exactly? Just asking for a friend. Which room exactly is this in the Haunted Hill House? Thanks for sharing again, Joe. New T-shirt idea. I went to Haunted Hill House and got a lousy lawsuit. That's better than I went to Haunted Hill House and got a lousy hand jab. There is a dick. There we go. We really, but it's really wholesome how many people he's done videos on ended up being his friends. Cough, Dawson, cough. Phantomet was in here earlier as well. Phantomet's another one, and Colin. All right. Big Time Ando, how's it going, mate? There's a movie about the hand jab. I didn't. I said hand jab. I'm talking about boxing. Voice to text. I like to think the voice to text is saying, surely you mean jab. Okay. I didn't mention wanking. Joe did. Why am I getting blamed for this? Wait a minute. According to the story, a prostitute named Priscilla Blair. She never actually existed. Pinky, thank you very much for your 16 months. You may be a dick, Seg, but you're a good one. I'm a good dick. Thank you very much, Pinky. I'm going to get myself cat. This live stream's going to get taken down, I'm sure of it. Extravagant Panks, thank you for another $5. Thank you so much for your generosity this live stream. Really appreciate you. The notion that not everyone can be wrong is such nonsense. History is full of instances where everyone was wrong. Oh, God, yeah. What do we mean by wrong? Like, as in, like, morally wrong? As in, like, factually or historically wrong? Yeah, of course there are. Yeah. You could be sincerely wrong as well. You could be wrong, but sincerely believe you're right. You know what I mean? But, you're not aware you're wrong. Anyway, you know what I mean. I didn't say wanking. I'm saying it now. You fucking bastards tricked me. You bastards. You fuckers. Did I tell you that one of my shorts got taken down because Paranormal Party Pooper said having a wank? True story. Dolly's still out there making her fucking content. Biff's still on there, spitting on women and choking them out. But someone in one of my videos said having a wank as a clear as day fucking joke, and the video got banned. Brilliant. YouTube's brilliant, isn't it? Oh, God, I love YouTube. Isn't YouTube the best? I plan on going to a brothel soon to investigate. I'll let you all know if I get a Phantom Man job. Yeah, let us know his name. Oh, I'm here all night, guys. I'm here all night. Shelley, thank you very much for your 24 months. Whoop, 2-year anniversary. 2 years is phenomenal. Thank you so much. That's so kind. Thank you for your support. Thank you. All right. Everyone stop talking about... Get your mind out of the gutter. Stop talking about wanking. Jesus. So it's supposed to be a serious... Like, only earlier we were talking about the Father, Son, and Holy fucking Ghost. Could we not now we've descended into wanking?
Fine, everybody's entitled to their own opinion when it comes to this life. I mean, you can think whatever the hell you want to, but I think it's very important that people have those experiences. And I wanted to have those experiences, which is why I set out to do all this. And I'm also, like I said earlier, type 1 diabetic. So that was also a major part of why I wanted to really dive into the field, because I've always been scared of death. I've always been afraid of what's coming. Being a type 1 diabetic, it's like, oh shit, well, I've probably got less time here than most people, which I've come to terms with and I'm okay with, but it's still something that I had to grapple with at a very young age. When I was 12, those were thoughts that would keep me up at night, and they still do sometimes. But yeah, I've just always been curious about what happens when you die. And so when I got all this equipment, back to the equipment, and I was able to use it in these investigations, that's when things to me started to get really, really interesting. And over time, we started to get really relevant responses. Now, I don't know if that's because spirits or energies started to be able to manipulate these devices, like they learned how to use them. I have no clue.
There's not... For someone whose title is, I don't believe in ghosts anymore, there's an awful lot of ghost talk, isn't there? You clickbait the fuck out of us here, Colin.
Clue how any of that works. And honestly, my take on devices and any paranormal tech is this. You're sitting down and you're using a gadget to speak to a spirit, right? So a lot of people say, well, how's a ghost know how to do this? Or this is just BS, because how are they going to do this and that? We're talking about spirits and energies, things that are timeless, things that have existed before us and have already existed after us. We're talking about completely enigmatic beings and energies that we don't understand at all. So I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that something can manipulate.
Guys, thank you so much to Sacred Grounds HQ for becoming a member again. Welcome back to the Side Guy Shit Show. For those of you who don't know, Sacred Grounds does my merchandise. If you were to support the channel by buying merchandise, instead of the money, like me getting a smaller percentage of the money and the rest of it going to some like shitty fucking company, instead, Sacred Grounds does all the printing, does all the sending herself. You'll be supporting her as well as myself. So you'll be supporting, real people, not just like, a giant company like Spring who are shit. I mean, they really are shit. So, Sacred Grounds, if you could please just share the link to your store. If you do want to support the channel by treating yourself some merchandise, it would be supporting myself and Roxy here for Sacred Grounds. Appreciate you. And again, Roxy, thank you very much for becoming a member. Buy my merch!
A gadget to try to tell its story. Because, I mean, we're talking about ghosts here, guys. We're talking about spirits. I want to believe like the X-Files. But this also played an important role in shaping my understanding of what all this is. Because yeah, over time, after using all these devices, we started to get really relevant on the nose answers and responses. And we started feeling like we were actually talking to these people and these energies. And we go to a place, let's say it's haunted by a woman named Marcy. And on the device, middle of the night, we have the word Marcy come through. I'm here. I mean, there are thousands and thousands of words and names in the databases that are stored on these devices. And time again, it would directly hit the name that we were looking for. And so for me, I started to believe that these were spirits. These are human spirits, just like all the TV shows. But I don't know. Over the last few years, I've started to notice different trends. And now that I believe in the devices, or at that point in my journey when I really started believing in them, I also started noticing that we would often get more negative words, or at times we would get responses that told a story, but not the story that was told at the location. Although it was a story that made total sense. Like there would be a way someone died, a name, told across multiple devices, everything talking in sync and helping us to determine, I'm in this haunted house right now, and there's a guy named James who's coming through and telling us he was shot to death with a gun, and there's no record of a James being murdered here. But then later on, we'd go look in the area and find out that there was someone named James who had been killed 3 doors down. It's happened so many times in our videos, I can't even count. But it's really weird. I used to be afraid of the paranormal. I used to be spooked by the ghosts, thinking that these were actually spirits of the living that were coming back. But over time, I just started to get a different vibe altogether. Now, I know it was a bit of a clickbaity extreme title, why I don't believe in ghosts.
Boom! I knew it was coming. At least he admitted it. But yeah, it's a little bit of a clickbaity title. Yeah, just a teeny tiny bit.
I just over time started to not necessarily believe as much in intelligent human hauntings. I do believe that there are human spirits. I believe there are human energies. Obviously, I mean, that's the core basis of this channel. I just don't feel anymore like it's necessarily intelligent. I feel like we as paranormal investigators are tapping into something that's replaying. To go back to,
okay, this is my thing. If it's not intelligent, and if you're going to use the word residual, so it's just like an echo replaying or something like that, that's a very, very strong case of it just being random circumstantial stuff that you're getting from the devices, as far as I'm concerned. Right? So, like, residual just sort of means like, so the thing that would make it, if it's intelligent, then you like to think you can get direct answers and hopefully consistent. Never fucking happens, but, that's what I would need to kind of really make me sort of go, maybe there's something to this. Not residual. Because residual could just mean anything. Anything can happen, and then you are doing the interpretation to how that is relevant to whatever the stories are in said location to make it fit the box of residual, right? So if, like, there's a ghost and the story is that, they used to eat nothing but apples, and then one day they fucking ate one too many apple seeds, which has cyanide in it, and then if something comes through and it says seed or apple or orchards, whatever, then you can, you know what I mean? You're making that leap. Residual is supposed to be ignorant to our time, reality, all that. It's supposed to be more of a replay. Yeah, that's my understanding. According to the belief, it can't interact. So that's what I'm saying. If it can't interact, whatever you're getting, you're imposing onto that, because if it was intelligent, then there could be some level of back and forth. And a back and forth, for me, is far more compelling. But if it's residual, you're sort of like going, anything. I'm just going to, anything that comes through devices or whatever, I'm going to stick to it being residual. That's just how I see it anyway.
like the stone tape theory or energy that's trapped in a location. Because we've had those relevant responses where it'll give us a name of someone who died at the location. It'll tell us exactly how they died. It'll give us this and that. But it never seems like it directly answers our questions, at least in my videos, because I'm presenting them pretty much raw. I mean, you're seeing very minimal editing on the actual evidentiary side. You're seeing the flow of how a night goes. That's why the videos are so long sometimes. If you actually watch the videos, I think only maybe 1% of our questions, 2% of our questions are actually directly answered in a relevant way that seems to be intelligent. Other times, it seems like it tells us the details of the people that haunt the place, but it's almost like we're just sitting there with a receiver listening to a transmission, but we can't actually transmit ourselves. It's like we're just tapping into a frequency that exists, listening to radio chatter, but when we ask them the question, they can't hear us. And yeah, I've cut out so many hours and hours and hours of footage where nothing happens, where nothing's relevant. So this is kind of where I'm at with the paranormal, where I just don't necessarily believe that in all these haunted locations, you have conscious, in the moment, intelligent human spirits that are roaming around, that walk over to you, that want to have a conversation. And for years, my views have been changing. I think that it's possible to have that, and we've had that in the past. I don't know what that necessarily means for my theory, but most of the time in the videos, and we talk about it, we've said this many times over, the answers make sense. I just don't know at the end of the day. I mean, I say the same thing at the end of almost every video. We had all this activity. It seemed like we were talking to this and this person, but I still don't get it. I still don't understand. There's still so many questions. I don't know what to even tell you guys, because one piece of advice I can give you: if someone tells you they're an expert in the paranormal, run the other way. Whether they are saying they're
Totally agree. Totally fucking agree. Much like if someone says to you they have all the answers when it comes to, if they're consistently saying every single week that they've proven beyond it, proven that someone's fake and all the rest of it. Like, you can have your opinions on that, much like you can have your opinions on the paranormal. But like, if you say you have all the answers all the time, no. Very, very few people can do that, especially with something as contentious as what we're talking about here. But I think it's safe to say that there is no evidence for any of this. So until you provide evidence for it, the more logical camp is this isn't real than this is real. That's my opinion on it anyway. I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's very much how I see it.
An expert in the paranormal itself, or an expert that doesn't like the paranormal, that thinks they have all the answers too, that can solve every answer and debunk everything. Those two extremes are the extremes. The real paranormal lives somewhere in the middle, where
well, okay, all right. Yes and no. My thing when I was saying about the debunking side of things, having all the answers, is if you say that person is fake every single week, like they are fake, that's a bit different. But like, if you say none of this is ghosts, none of it is ghosts until you can prove it is ghosts. That's the way the world works. You can believe. Belief is belief, but you can't prove it's ghosts. I hate the word proof and evidence when talking about the paranormal. Yeah, I understand that a lot of people who believe in ghosts hate those words, but they're very fucking important words for such very big claims. There has never been any actual proof or evidence ever put out for people. Nothing is absolute right now. What? There has never been any actual proof or evidence ever put out for people. In regards to what? Like there's evidence and proof of many aspects of the living world as we know it, and we take that as fact. But the thing is, you may never find that for the paranormal, and there'll be two arguments on why you may never find any real evidence or proof of the paranormal. One, because it doesn't exist. Two, because it's so beyond our realm of understanding that we don't even know how to fucking quantify it or measure it in any way, shape, or form. So yeah. I'm an expert spending a lot of money on electrical locations and nothing happens. You are the world's greatest expert at that, Joe. There's experts in quantum physics, which is far more proven, lol. Sometimes you guys just say anything. So quantum physics is a very interesting avenue to go down with this. But again, we're kind of like even scratching the surface a lot of what quantum physics can bring. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding because people who like are experts in quantum physics will be the first to sort of say they don't really understand quantum physics. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I can fucking understand quantum physics. I do like the idea that one day, maybe not in our lifetime or whatever, it can maybe bring some answers. But as of yet, does that prove anything supernatural? No, it doesn't.
Some of the stuff that happens you can debunk. Obviously, we've done it so many times, we just cut it out. I mean, it's just like, oh shit, well, that was that, all right. Or, you know, not everything is a spirit, and like, yeah, not everything is a spirit or an energy. And the same goes for the paranormal. If someone's going to tell you this is a demon, for example, or I know for a 100% fact this is who's here and haunting this area, I also feel that that's fraudulent, because you actually don't know that. You know what evidence you've captured, but there are no definites in the paranormal. Nothing is concrete. Nothing is like 100%, you know, the answer to this question, because nobody does. Nobody has the answers. I don't have the answers. You don't have the answers. Yeah. So eventually over time, I started to realize that these things don't seem to be intelligently communicating with us, at least on the human side. And that's where I'm at with ghosts themselves. You know, it really seems like 90% of the hauntings we've investigated have been residual, where, yeah.
I'm just want to look at the chart. That is true. Like, don't conflate scientific theory with just the overall broader term of what a theory is. That's people do this. Religious people do this all the time. People who believe in supernatural do this all the time. Yeah, like scientific theory and theory are very different things.
Now, there are loud bangs or really intelligent responses, but it just never really seems like I'm sitting down in a chair with a recorder and there's a spirit sitting across from me in another chair answering the questions directly. Now, we've had that so many times. Like, we have done like voice.
I know the chat. I'm trying to get through Colin. The chat's getting very interesting right now. This is very true. Just because there's no proof now doesn't mean there won't be proof in the future. That's how science operates, and it's always trying to find better science. And maybe there'll be something for ghosts in the future, maybe. But until we get there, we can't operate in that saying that there's any truth behind it, because there is yet no proof. Will there be one day? Yeah. Well, say yeah. I'll even go as far as say hopefully, because I would love there to be. But I guess that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you know, we're always striving to find that proof.
Quarter sessions that were really interesting. We've had direct responses so many times. And I know there's a lot of you out there that are thinking, what does that mean for that sort of a thing? Well, I do think that there are conscious entities out there. However, I don't necessarily know if I believe that they're human or not. Now, I'm not saying that ghosts aren't demons. That is far from what I'm saying. I, at this point in my paranormal journey, after having gone to so many countries, so many hundreds of locations, done literally over 650 or so ghost hunts at this point, I know that there's residual and I know that there's intelligent activity. With the intelligent activity, for me, more than half of the time, it seems to be negative, or it seems to be where it leans towards frightening. Now, why is that? I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend like I know. But you can see in some of these videos, it's why I like doing demon houses the most, because they always give you the most intense activity and the most really present activity, if you know what I'm saying. Like, there's something about these hauntings that are called demonic or what.
Not the Sally house, I can tell you that much. Boring.
Whatever you want to call them, that is just so compelling to me. And it really does, after having investigated so many of those locations, it really does seem like those hauntings are still there, and they are very intelligent, whatever these things are, and they do communicate. And I think there are like different classes of energies and beings. Like, for example, I do think demons, whatever you want to call them, are real. I like to call them non-human negative energies, because I just don't like the term demon and the kind of religious stigma it carries with it. Even though I've used the word demon, it's just a catch-all. You know, if you say demon, people understand what you're getting at, something that isn't human, that is negative. But
I think that's a little bit of a sleight of hand there. You say demon to me, I'm thinking. You say ghost to me. If you say a ghost or even a poltergeist, to me, that's something that stays in those four walls for some reason. It always stays in the same four walls, or it stays in a forest, or it stays in a cave, but it stays in that location. A demon can do all sorts of crazy shit. Put it this way, if you're talking about demons, surely demons are not residual. Surely a demon is intelligent, will give you intelligent responses. Surely. What do you guys think on that one?
Those things exist. I didn't used to believe in them. And then I had a ton of experiences, and I visited locations that were allegedly haunted by these things. And then I had an insane sleep paralysis bout for a few months after visiting a very notorious location where I experienced sleep paralysis like 12, 15 times in a few months. It was really, really scary. It ended with me basically seeing people with my eyes open in the daylight during a sleep paralysis episode, running through this apartment I was in or this hotel room and making noise, and then something pressing me down into the bed, leaning up to my face and saying, "I'm the demon," just like that. And I woke up screaming.
I'm a demon. I'm Batman.
I mean, it was really scary. And I definitely believe in all that stuff. But I just like to classify it as something that we don't understand that's negative. And I think there are tons of different energies and spirits out there that do talk to us that are on the lighter side. I just don't know what they are. Are they angels? Are they extra dimensional beings? Are they interdimensional beings? Are they literally aliens? Are they somehow conscious, floating around, fully intelligent spirits of the dead, of humans?
Woo! I hear it's a lot about, are they aliens or interdimensional? Why are they only in these weird places then? Why are they just, why isn't that literally everywhere? I don't know. I think a lot of demons are human created. They were made up of negative human emotions. Think about it: wrath, greed, gluttony, etc. We help create them, and I'm like, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. Do people use the same logic put into believing in the paranormal into other aspects of their lives? Car doesn't work. Don't take it to a living mechanic. Just ask a ghost. Yeah, I know. Yeah. People like to cherry pick their belief system with a lot of that stuff.
I don't know what to make of it, but it just seems like the classic definition of ghosts, I don't necessarily buy into as much anymore, because I feel like ghost activity is usually like residual stuff that we're tapping into. Like I said before, with a receiver, not a transmitter, we're just hearing this, and it can be really, really relevant and on point and direct, but it doesn't necessarily seem like they're actually communicating with us. But there's also the other side where there are good and bad entities or energies that do communicate incredibly clearly, that have brought me to tears in the past, that have scared the shit out of me in the past. And I believe that's something completely unexplained that I don't understand at all. Like, where do these things come from? Where do they roam? And this goes back to my haunted house story to kind of full circle it. Because back then I used to believe the haunting was caused by these two angry men spirits that were angry that we disturbed their land. And that is a great story to believe in. And based on the evidence at the time, I truly believed that that was the case. But now we're here in 2026, 13, almost 15 years later. And to me, what happened there seems more like it was an intensely negative energy that somehow found my family and locked onto it. Maybe it was more than one, maybe it was 10, maybe there was a portal there and they were coming out of this portal like the psychic Donna suggested. But it just doesn't seem like it was a human doing these things. Like I said before, no human spirit's going to imitate my mom's voice and then crawl around on my floor trying to scare the shit out of me. Every time that we experienced something in the house, it was frightening, and it seemed like it was engineered to frighten us. And that just brings up another theological question. Do these demonic entities, do these negative entities, do they get a rise out of scaring people? Do they feed off of fear? I mean, fear, obviously, and fright, that's such a powerful emotion that we exert onto our environment. So is that like food to them? Do they use that energy as a battery? And that's why they tend to try to scare the hell out of people versus communicate with them? That's something that I kind of believe is true, but I have no proof for it because this is the paranormal. And this is all just a theory video where I'm talking about my theory and my thoughts. But yeah, it's just hard for me to buy into the classic definition of a ghost nowadays when I've experienced all of this stuff, and it's just it's so powerful. And we've had nights where we've obviously visited some of the most haunted places on earth and nothing has happened. Like I did Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia years ago. I spent the whole night there investigating. It was incredibly expensive to rent the place out. It's one of the most notorious haunted locations in all of America. Extremely violent, brutal past as a penitentiary, tons of deaths, tons of abuse. And yet the whole time I was there, I didn't experience really one paranormal event the whole night that I was there. And this is one of the most famous haunted places on earth. I've heard the same thing about other locations. Like a lot of people have told me that Waverly Hills in Kentucky is like that, even though I'd like to visit that place. And we even have a lot of people that have come to me and said, I either get two types of messages. I get the message from people that they visited the Sally House and it was extremely terrifying, or they visited the Sally House in Kansas and nothing happened and they were disappointed. And that almost buys into my theory, of the conscious negative energies. Like there are certain people that visit a location like the Sally House that these things feel like they can scare, that they can get that rise out of, that they could potentially get something from. I feel like my family was one of those families. I mean, this.
Okay, so this is the bit where we're going to get to the whole. If you're susceptible in believing in this stuff, then it's going to happen. I understand where people who believe in the paranormal, where they come with this, but you've also equally got to understand that people like myself are going to very much interpret this as you. It's all in your head, right? It's all in your head. If you're going to say that people like myself who go to the Sally house and nothing happens, is very quiet. I was there with Kenny as well. Like nothing happened compared to skeptical people go there, nothing happens. And then when Colin or Dawson here in the chat, he's had crazy experiences at the Sally house, really personal experiences. And if it happens for you guys because you believe in it, but it doesn't happen for those who don't believe in it, the ghosts can just interact with you in different ways than they do with others. With the greater respect, it sounds like it's in your head because you're more susceptible to believing in it. That's the only way I can interpret that for me. Fear is incredibly influential on how you feel. It affects you so much. There's studies on this. This is proven. Fear can manipulate you in so many ways, can make you think you're hearing and seeing things that you're not really hearing and seeing. We know this. So if you're more susceptible in being afraid in these places, you are more likely to have what you would consider an experience over someone like me. Is that proof or evidence or anything of anything paranormal? In my opinion, no.
Thing in our videos that we did there, at one point had my dad in tears because it seemed to be making fun of his dead family member. It scared us so bad multiple times that we were screaming at the top of our lungs. That's a massive burst of energy that these beings could feast off of, if that's really what's happening here, or if they just enjoy scaring people and causing havoc. I'm a perfect person to scare because I'm really jumpy, and I do get scared. It's so interesting to me because I have done so many investigations, 650 plus at this point, and this is where I'm at nowadays, where, yeah, it's like we could sit here all day and try to talk to the woman who died in this location, but when the activity really does start happening or does come through, 90% of the time, it just doesn't seem like something's consciously sitting there and answering the questions. It's more like, maybe sometimes the answer that comes through was something that we tapped into. Maybe it was an energy exerting itself in the environment. I don't really know what to make out of any of it, but those are my thoughts. So at the end of the day, I do believe in ghosts, obviously. I just am not necessarily into the traditional thinking behind it. Not to say that it doesn't exist at all, but I'm trying to make the argument here that it's much more nuanced than people give it credit for being. Like, if you say to somebody, you talk about a ghost or haunting, they immediately only think of a dead person walking the halls of a location, talking to you. I think that does happen. I just don't think it happens nearly as much as people think that it does. I think most of the activity is residual. And then I think sometimes you find these locations, or somehow something finds you that is intelligent, that isn't human. I mean, I've spent the last few years also diving into all these different cultures and traveling the world. In Ireland, we did that amazing video out in the forest where we did the spirit summoning ritual, and we were talking about all the different types of energies and entities just in Ireland, like headless horseman spirits, fairies, leprechauns, trickster spirits. There are so many.
Just sounds crazy to me. Sorry. If we're talking headless horsemen, leprechauns, fairies, it just gets into the world of silly, right? Like, I can entertain the notion of ghosts. I'll even go as far as poltergeists. I'll even go as far as a fucking mimic. But when we start going leprechauns, fairies, headless horsemen, I'll throw demons in there. It's just fantasy. I mean, it's all fantasy, to be fair, but that's like extreme level of fantasy. Like, you might as well be in fucking Hogwarts. You might as well be in Middle Earth.
Different types of spirits, and that was just in one forest in Ireland. I mean, there are different kind of native spirits in all these different countries. Like in Italy, we did lots of videos. We talked about the different spirits that are found in Italy. There are different entities or types of entities found in places like Japan and China too. I mean, all over the place. there are stories of spirits that are not necessarily human, but they're conscious and they make contact all the time. And I believe in all that stuff. I believe in the fairy energies. I believe in all the Japanese ghost stories that are frightening as hell. And a lot of those things are just, they're not human spirits. And so that also has opened my mind, where I'm like, there are just so many things we don't understand about this world. Here in America, obviously, this country before it was America, this was all indigenous land. And the indigenous people have tons of stories about so many different types of spirits or entities or beings. And I believe in all that stuff. Just because we unfortunately came here and caused a genocide and killed a bunch of people, that doesn't erase or delete the history and the beliefs that came before us, because it was right here on this very land. So I don't think any of that stuff has gone anywhere. And that could also be a cause of some of the American hauntings that don't seem to be human, that are fully unexplainable. I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, why is it always? I know, and I'm asking a question. I already know what the answer is going to be from believers, but it's all. I just find it funny how it's always got to be, or usually anyway, it's something negative that creates the haunting. It's a negative. So it's like a massacre, some like a woman being murdered by her lover, and she now is a banshee roaming around. It's always a really bad. It's never just. I don't know. I can't think of like somebody just passed away peacefully in their sleep. I don't know. It's always some kind of negativity behind it, because it ultimately that's the blueprints for a ghost story, isn't it? Almost all ghost stories, it's something negative that's happened. It's something and it's like, the ghost is now like wandering around looking for either some level of redemption or revenge, or seeking refuge, or it's always something like that. They're just perpetually in an eternity of loss or anger or devastation in some way. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Just all of it smells human engineerment. All of it just smells like this is how stories are told. Stories made by the living, made by humans. This is what we do. We tell stories.
Names in so many ways that different cultures have described these types of entities over the years, and I find them all so immensely fascinating. But the common denominator in all these stories is that a lot of these energies are not human. They're like a different race or breed of spirit entirely, something that's just incomprehensible, that appears and manifests in various ways. Yeah, I know this was a long ranty video. What do you guys think about all this? Do you guys think that I'm crazy? These are just my thoughts. Anybody can have thoughts of their own, and obviously everybody has their own thoughts, but these are kind of just mine on the topic, where my views on the paranormal are way more metaphysical now than they were at the beginning. I used to have a very rigid definition of what I was expecting. I'm going to go to this place, I'm going to speak to this person who died here, who's just sitting around waiting for me to speak to them. Nowadays, I feel like it's more, you're really, really lucky if you capture some sort of intelligent communication on camera. You'll get communication, you'll get signs, you'll get evidence. That doesn't mean it's necessarily intelligent. And then on top of that, usually when you do get the intelligent activity, it doesn't ever seem to really be coming from a known energy or spirit within a location. It's something altogether different that is unexplainable and 10 times more frightening to me, because I don't know how to deal with it, and I think that it's freaky. And that's
video's nearly finished. We will watch to the very end. Extravagant Pains, thank you so much for your $5. Really appreciate it. Thank you for another $5. People are hardwired with pattern recognition. It's survival mechanism. It's a survival mechanism. That's why we see ghosts and Jesus in toast. That's very true. It really is. So we are hotwired or hardwired to see patterns. I've talked about this many times before. I think one of the most interesting thing about like patterns, Spotify had a random shuffle feature, and they got loads of complaints by people who were saying it doesn't randomize my song because they're seeing patterns in whatever comes up next on their tracks. It's either the same artist or the same theme or whatever it might be, the same genre of music. Spotify had to engineer an algorithm to randomize the randomizer, because we are so susceptible for finding patterns. I just think that's really interesting.
it kind of fits with the way that I've always done the videos, where I say everything's just unexplained. I put that text in all my videos: unexplained noise, unexplained this, unexplained that. It's something that we tried to debunk that we just couldn't explain. And I've never tried to ascribe any sort of meaning to these things or any explanation or definition to them. It's unexplainable. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's causing it. And we've had so much really, and we've captured so many great pieces of evidence over the years, but it just to me seems like nowadays, when I look back at all of it as a whole, it almost points in a different direction for me, where, yeah, we've gotten lucky and spoken with what seems to be intelligent human spirits. Yeah, we've gotten lucky. We've captured tons of residual activity that might have even seemed intelligent at the time, that now looking back at it might have been residual. But we've also had tons of direct responses that, interpreting it differently now, I don't know if I necessarily believe we're coming from people that were in the locations that, I think it might have been something else speaking with us in some of these videos, completely unexplainable, that I don't understand at all. But yeah, let me know your comments, or let me know your thoughts on what you guys would like to see me talk about next. I'm going to start doing this every week. I'm going to do an hour or so long video, just kind of ranting about the paranormal, because I have so many thoughts on so many different things, and I've had so many experiences I can talk about. Lots of them too that were never captured on camera, that were just frightening and powerful and so very real. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in this Monday, and I'll see you guys next Sunday for the start of something brand new. And stay.
All right. Interesting video. Sorry, Dan from the Pensacola, from Pensacola, Florida. Thank you so much for your $4.99. Really appreciate that. Saw an object fly off a shelf 20 years ago in an old warehouse. Don't know if a ghost, but I knew the science is real. It's just too unpredictable to capture. Fair enough. And this is the thing when it goes to people who believe in the paranormal. I'm just skipping down the bottom. Sorry if I missed some chats. I know the chat, the live chat right here is going fucking crazy right now. You guys make some really interesting points. But I will say on that point is like, yeah, in fairness to those who are on the believer kind of like, sphere on this whole thing, you got a fucking big uphill battle to convince people like me on this about, because if it is real, and it's something that Joe Fatale always says, it's extraordinarily rare. So to experience it in the first place, tricky, and to document it, to capture it, even trickier. So it's rare. And then you've also got the extra added bullshit of a lot of people faking their evidence. And that happens a lot more than I think even a lot of us really realize. One thing we can all agree on, you can't speak about this. This is proper science, and live to see a credible career. So they leave it be. We need more studies. We do need more studies. The problem is that it's just so many of them. I would like to see more studies done into this. The problem is it's just not taken seriously, is it, in science? It really isn't. And maybe there's a very good reason for that. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. The sentence is dumb, John. Yes, it doesn't require more. It requires the same. They're like, Dawson and John are going at it here. No, I don't have an uphill battle. I think people can think as they want and believe in what they want. Yeah, but like Cree, you often debate on here and you disagree with people, and you're very vocal about that. So you obviously want people to come along to your way of thinking. I would imagine. I know you're happy for people to disagree and all the rest of it, but you are so very, very passionate about this and very vocal. So you do want people to, I would assume you do want people to come to the sort of like the same conclusions you do, because you're so vocal about it. Would that not be fair to say? Going the hardware pattern. The 4 Fs: fight, flight, void, and freeze. This is how you get ghost stories. True. Very true. So where does the Grim Reaper sit on all this? I haven't said the Grim Reaper in quite a while. Grim Reaper. I've had clients and studies for years now, and I can only say it has a lot to do with the person involved on how the haunting is shaped. There is something to do with the emotional state of the person for sure. I've already kind of made my thoughts on that very clear. The problem is there is no funding in regular science, much less, that's a very good point, Ms. Kelly, much less science that is based on something that is far more likely not to happen. That's a very good point. Science gets funding pulled all the time. Unless it's like, going to help for weapons and things like that. And then I saw its face. Now I'm a believer. I'm trading on my mind. Thank you. Thank you for this. I wish going on would be more mad about faking because it really has ruined the field. Couldn't agree more, Crow and Judas. Yeah, Crow and I have sort of noticed this, that there does seem to be... I'm not going to start pointing fingers at anyone when I say this. I'm not going to start naming names, but like there are people who are so critical on debunkers, and we don't see that same level of energy put into fakers. And I'm like, could a debunker get something wrong? Sure, we're human. We can all get things wrong. I've tried to advocate for people to be more careful with their language. So if they are wrong, they're not making something out to be like 100% proof and all the rest of it. I can only do my bit as far as that goes. A debunker can be wrong, can be an honest mistake. Most of the time when we're wrong, we'll put our hand up and apologize. When a faker fakes, they will never admit they faked, very rarely anyway. They'll double down. They'll even try and sue, silence people, shut people up, slap defamation shit on them. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people in the community that can see through that bullshit. But I've noticed a few investigators. And don't get me wrong, even the investigators like in those specific examples, like for Dolly, for example, a lot of people say that's bullshit. But when they're sort of generally speaking, there's a lot of people that are attacking debunkers rather than attacking. I think a lot of that effort should put it this way, more of that effort should be put into fakers. Taylor Von Stresser, thank you so much for your $10. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I hope you can. I hope you all in the US are not having explosive diarrhea from the recent outbreak. What the hell's going on there? Best wishes, everyone. Enjoy the live stream, Seg. I love how you always hear out others out. I do my best, but thank you very much, Taylor. Really appreciate your $10. Thank you. 3 minutes behind the chat. I'm probably going to miss some really good chats here. I'm going to go down to the bottom and I'm going to ask a question. Put a 1 in chat if you want this to go on for like another 50, go on for 2.5 hours. Put a 2 in chat if you're just kind of ready to end it now. 1 in chat if you want to go on for another 15 minutes. Really, just because I feel like there's some things said in chat right now that people are having these back and forths, and I don't want it to end if people still have things they want to kind of like get off their chest. All right, seems to be overwhelmingly ones. I guess at the end of the day, if you are going to hit 2, good night. You can just leave, can't you? All the best. Cheerio. I hope to see you again next time. Yes, I'm for more strict guidelines when it comes to calling out fake. I don't like saying that unless I have good evidence. Agreed. While the fakers are prolific, there is likely to be funding for proper research. That research is so important to so many people here. Please respect that. All right, more seg. A paranormal investigator should also be a debunker. Couldn't agree more, Jenny. You have to be able to say, okay, let's make sure that isn't what. Yeah, I agree. Totally agree. For my sake too. We'll go on for another 15. We'll go for a 2.5 hour live stream today. Sure, science gets it wrong from time to time, but what corrects science is always science correcting science. Absolutely, 100% it is. So really, what's happening is that science actually getting it right. Yeah, that's the thing. Exactly that. What corrects science? Better science. Science is proving itself to be wrong all the time. Tell me anything else that proves itself. Like so in every direction of science as well, it's always improving. It's always coming up with better explanations. Always. Like science in and of itself is not the enemy here. So I just think you compare all believers in with people like the twins. We are not. I don't do that. Many of us think things through and are open. I mean, I'm not sure what I said to make you think that, Cree. Right now in this chat, like, Joe Vitale and Dawson Tola are in here. They are believers. I've been on the videos with them. I've discussed this sort of stuff with them. I don't compare them to Twin Paranormal in any way, shape, or form. I don't compare Colin of the Paranormal Files to be like as egregious as the twins. Phantomette was in here earlier. I don't see her being like the twins at all. There's loads of examples where I don't. People who disagree with my thoughts and my belief system, and I disagree with them. I do not think they're like Twin Paranormal. I think that's quite unfair to think that to say that I compare all believers with people like the twins. That I think is untrue. Dawson, people who fake do take away from those who are legit. Look at the views. Sorry, Dawson, did you say otherwise? Of course they do. They make a mockery of what you do. Look at the subscriber count. It does hurt. Oh, yes, Dawson, come on, mate. You know that full well. Sorry, I just saw. Funny. How do I say that? Sisyphos was mentioned. I had that over the. Oh shit! Not fun. Is that? I don't know what's going on here. Is there like an outbreak or something happening in America? Thank you again, another $4.99. Time. Appreciate you. Thank you. This is a great question. Do I endorse Count Binface? Yes, I do. We need more Count Binface. If you don't know who that is, he's all over Instagram. Go check him out. Fucking legend. And I agree, people shouldn't do unacceptable things. But also, we don't need to hold everyone's hand through this. We don't. I don't agree with that. If they can't figure it out, I'm not sure what that means at the end there. Okay. Dawson, they can also have an impact on people who lost loved ones for ways to communicate with the lost ones, the lost loved one, and spending money on false promises. I don't think Seg has ever compared believers to the twins. Different subject. The twins fake, the paranormal, nothing to do with belief. Thank you, Sarah. Fakers hurt people's feelings or being scumbags. That's different than hurting the paranormal field. Again, I disagree. Okay. Plumbers would say, or construction workers would say that cowboy builders affect their work. People who scam others and you're in the same field as them, absolutely is going to hurt your field. Absolutely. I think that is one of the of all the things said in this live stream, that is probably the least controversial. I just saw someone saying hi to Shape. Is Shape here? If you're here, Shape, how's it going? How far behind the chat am I? Not too bad, actually. Science is definitely important, has made such great discoveries, but it is hard to measure in a way a person feel and things that can't be seen. Unfortunately, that's the backbone of it. Yeah, I agree. And that's really the problem. You're right. When you're dealing with feelings, it's very hard to quantify that in any way, any kind of metric. That's always going to be difficult. But also, it kind of goes like what some people. I've been in these buildings, like Colin, for instance. Colin said, "I feel this way," and I don't. So it's all subjective. And this is why I believe it's a lot of it's in your head. Colin and Connor will say, I feel this, I feel that, I feel, and I don't feel anything. I'm just there. Totally severance from feeling. So a lot of my exes say too. I have witnessed so many experiences and had thousands of experiences that I consider ghosts, i.e. crap flying around. I no longer believe in ghosts though. Okay. Sean Lempford, thank you so much for your $9.99. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Hey, Seg, once again, a great chat, great community. Thanks for being yourself. That's rare to find anywhere someone's live. Love from New Jersey. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate you saying that. I am extremely blessed having the community I got. You guys are amazing. Yeah, I really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. Crow, all due respect, you're talking about paranormal videos, not paranormal fields. There is a difference. I think if we talk about fakers, I think they're the same. I think it's the same. Absolutely, it affects the paranormal field. Fair enough. There are studies that go on to this day regarding parapsychology. It's not just widely accepted. Yep. I agree the paranormal videos are hurt by fakers, but the paranormal field will keep going. Oh, it'll keep going, but it is making a mockery of the field. I don't think anyone's saying that fakers are going to destroy it. But other people, put it this way, if other people want to kind of come into this and sort of go, oh, I wonder what's this whole paranormal thing's all about. So I like ghosts and all the rest of it. And then they'll watch a Kelsey Davies video. They'll be like, well, this is a load of old bot. Then they'll watch a Kelsey Davies video. They'll watch a Sam and Colby video. They'll watch a Twin Paranormal video. Then they'll watch an Oh My Gosh video. Then they'll watch a CJ Fasion video. Then they'll watch, take your pick. They're just going to go, well, this is a load of bollocks, isn't it? Like fucking Zach Bagans, whatever. Like they're just going to go, fuck this. And just walk away from it. Potentially people who are actually looking for the truth, if they just see that kind of stuff, they're just going to go. And they're the biggest names. Like they're the people that people are more likely going to find first. And then you've also got those same fakers, the people who believe in them will think you guys are just boring and you're not doing it properly. Because you're like, well, why is no one got a scratch here today? Why is there nothing being thrown across the floor? Why is there no screaming happening in the background? Why is there no one saying they've seen a fucking shadow figure? Whatever it might be. The fact that they get unbelievable amount of evidence, activity, every video, and then they'll go on to a Dawson Tola video or a Joe Vitale video and then go, well, this is boring. Nothing's fucking happening. You're doing it wrong. Twin Paranormal were doing it right. You guys are doing it wrong. Like, surely you can see where I'm coming from with this. That is not what I meant. I'm saying that often you guys say, I know what the believers are going to say. You don't. Well, when I say that, I think what I'm saying is that I think I understand your belief system. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're anything like Twin Paranormal. We don't all think alike. I was using twins as calling everything ghost. No, I don't think I was trying to say that. I think I was trying to say that I understand what your argument is going to be, not that has anything to do with Twin Paranormal. I wasn't even thinking of Twin Paranormal when I was saying that. Okay, I apologize if I'm making an assumption, but I think it's fair to say that you also made an assumption there. So maybe we just got not all of us try and make less assumptions. Fair? Dawson, you say that when I go to streams, people making marketing shenanigans and believe demons could enter their screen. Yeah, that's a nonsense one. That's total bollocks. Let me see. Bullying Thunder. Honestly, there are some YouTubers that are real and some not so much. The same can be said for the big TV productions, like Not Limited to Ghost Adventures. Yeah, I agree with that. True Heart, I can't tell you how many times I've seen viewers claim that they're experiencing paranormal activity because videos they're watching. Has crazy claim, that one. Aussie Cat, thank you for 2 gifted memberships. If you got one of those gifted memberships, please be sure to thank Aussie Cat in the live chat. Appreciate you, Aussie Cat. Thank you. Because you don't believe, Seg. Paranormal only happens to believers, apparently. Yeah, I think that's the thing that frustrates me the most. And that to me is like, fine, if you want to have that, if that's your opinion on the matter, that's fine. But you've got to understand that there's a very, very obvious counter to that it's all in your head. If it's real, it should happen to anybody. It shouldn't be you're susceptible for it happening to you with it not being in your head. Like, it's a very, very clear, for me anyway, it's a very clear argument you're making there. Christian, I had points to me as soon as I was my still. I think I'm coming halfway through a conversation there. Fakers do make a mockery. At the end of the day, screaming and yelling gets views. So effing over it. You can capture the cool stuff, and no one wants to watch because they are bored. Very much so. Yes, agreed. Casey Davis was so mean to me one time in a comment section, all because I said she was carrying around fake haunted doll. Yeah, that doesn't. I've heard a few people say Kelsey can be quite fucking mean to others. I've heard this from a few people actually. She could be, she could get quite snappy, let's say, in comment sections. Pinky, thank you so much for a gifted membership. If you got that gifted membership, please be sure to thank Pinky in the live chat. Thank you so much, Pinky. Really appreciate you. People who believe in ghosts and watch videos aren't the field as a whole. Sure, they get scammed or hurt. I wish fakers weren't a thing, but YouTube videos aren't studies. All right, I'm just going to agree to disagree. So going back to my original, out of interest, Dawson, I'm going to try and pick out your answer after I ask this. The original point I was bringing up the faker thing is because how some investigators will be very quick to call out debunkers and then not really say, kind of go a bit silent on fakers. Do you believe, to the paranormal field, debunkers can do more damage than fakers? I'll ask that again. Do you believe that debunkers, or at least bad debunks, however you want to phrase it, but debunkers essentially getting things potentially wrong, is more damaging to the paranormal field the field of the paranormal than people intentionally faking evidence and putting it out there as if it's real. Kind of don't want this live stream to end right now, guys. I'm quite enjoying it. We got into quite an interesting space right here. Exactly. People view other channels like Twin Paranormal, and they can watch a video of me at the same place and the twins have been to because nothing happened. It's boring. I'm doing it all wrong. Well, that's yeah. I had so many paranormal investigators tell me this as well, that they get frustrated with this. I've had Paranormal Quest say that to me a bunch of times. I really hate all of these paranormal investigations in Ireland and fairies and leprechauns, and yeah, it's I don't know. It's so funny to me, the leprechaun fairy thing. I mean, I say this as someone. My family, a lot of my family's in Ireland. When I used to live in England, I was in Ireland all the time, north and south. Like, should I say the town where a lot of my family live in? Fuck it. Ardglass. I was in Ardglass quite a lot, and Downpatrick. Ardglass, Downpatrick, a little bit in Belfast, but mostly Ardglass and Downpatrick. And a lot of the country all around there, a lot of the countryside, we used to walk around all the time. That's kind of all we did when I went over there, to be honest with you. And then Wexford. My grandparents used to live in Wexford. All around Wexford and all the rest of it, I used to go around. Nothing paranormal, nothing. Like, and I love Ireland, love it. Seg, when it comes to ghost beliefs, hauntings, makes no sense. Who decides where, why? None of this makes sense, and it all contradicts. Why haunt a school, a house, a hospital? Who decides? It's BS. Yeah, there's a lot of like loopholes in this, isn't there? There's a lot of like, just contradictions. There's a lot. Yeah. There's a reason why Neil deGrasse Tyson is more famous than other scientists. He's entertaining and explains why most others can't. Yeah, I agree. He's very good at communicating. He's very charismatic, and he's very good at getting his excitement across. The paranormal can find Neil eventually. Yeah, perhaps. Angie, thank you for another $10. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So happy to see a community of people who can have adult conversations about our different beliefs. I'm with you 1,000% and love the community we've grown. I want to thank you so much, Angie. And I want to say it's like we're all disagreeing here. I haven't seen anyone be a dick in the chat here, and I want to keep it that way. I'm sure my mods are on top of it, the ones who are still awake. Understandable if you're not, by the way. But everyone seems to be pretty cool here. And I think, again, I'm very, very lucky and feel very fortunate that my community you're being cool with each other. And we can disagree. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay. We can do it respectfully. Thank you for that $10. Angie. Just look how much influence the big legacy teams have, guys. Look at Elton. Look at Twin Paranormal. Look at Project Fear. Look at these big teams. They're the main feature at Paracons. Absolutely, they are. Yes. Activity doesn't get views. My best video doesn't. Videos have the least views. That's a dumb argument. Activity doesn't get views. No, okay. Yes, it does, Dawson. What are you talking about? You think Twin Paranormal got to... Now, the trouble is, Dawson, you're talking about one particular video. I'm talking about one channel over multiple videos. Twin Paranormal over multiple videos are going to get more activity than you. because they manufacture it. Now, within Twin Paranormal videos, they might kind of, hey, we went a little bit crazy this video and it didn't do quite as well as this video here. But all their videos, more happens than in yours. So people know to go to their channel over yours. So you're thinking about individual videos. No, you got to think about it as a channel as a whole. And also, mate, let's try and not go as far as saying things are dumb arguments as well, which we're all being cool here, mate. YouTube is literally all luck and charisma to convince people to watch more. I mean, entertainment is a part of it. That's it. If your video isn't shown, it won't be watched. I mean, that obviously having charisma and screen presence is part of it. But let's not pretend that faking your evidence has nothing to do with it. Let's not pretend that, my man. Like, of course it does. Yeah, thanks for that, Crow. Yeah, again, I have to disagree. Activity absolutely over a long period of time, 100% equates to more views. If your sole purpose of filming a video is for clicks and views, you're investigating for the wrong reasons. Also, if you don't think high activity is good on YouTube, you might have to rethink that. Hey, Dark Angel Gothic Vampire. I haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Seg, you need to read some. Oh, come on. I'm so sorry. I've been trying. I know I can see John Michael. I've seen in previous videos and in Kenny videos that he writes really good comments too. I'm sorry if I haven't read out enough. It's just been so many comments. I'm already fucking 7 minutes behind the chat. I'm going to have to start skipping. I'm trying to read people's comments and it's really hard because you guys are making, like, they're really interesting. They're really good comments, but they're long and then I want to respond to them. So it's just making me get further and further behind. I do believe that when debunkers get it wrong, it can cause damage. But the same goes with fakers. It's far worse when the fakers do it. Okay. All right. I'll accept that. Like, I'm not even saying that debunkers won't do damage, but like, my point is we're human, we fuck up. I like to believe that debunkers are not saying things are fake for the wrong intentions. We make mistakes. Surely we can all be forgiven for making a mistake. Fakers are scamming people. That's not a mistake. That's a very intentional decision they're making for whatever gain, whether it be monetary gain, whether it be channel growth gain, whether it be reputation, whatever you want to call it, whatever the reason is. That's the difference. Right. So let me get this straight, Dawson. If all fakers, if they get views, do you realize that doesn't give a good impression for yours now? Let's be careful about not calling other people fake. I know you're not, but let's just make sure that we're being respectful. Goes every direction. I don't know if it damages the paranormal field, Seg, but it does harm debunkers as a whole when you have someone making huge mistakes of faking being a debunker. Angry Cajun comes to mind. Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. I don't consider Angry Cajun a debunker in any way, shape, or form. He's an outright faker. Angry Cajun is a faker who masquerades as a debunker. But can that do damage to the debunking field as a whole? Yeah, probably. If people are going to go to Angry Cajun's video and think that's what debunkers are like, yeah, it looks really fucking bad on us. Really fucking bad. No, because people intentionally faking evidence is harmful from a psychological perspective. A skeptical / debunker being wrong is fine as long as they are willing to correct themselves. I completely agree. And I like to think that's what we do. Certainly what I try and do. I think debunkers damage egos, whether they are right or wrong in their opinion. Fakers do more damage because they give people false ideas of what it's like. People with real power issues get hurt in the process. I agree. My most viewed video is a video where I walk around an abandoned town. Nothing happened except a few sticks breaking, and I was scared of bears. Activity doesn't equal views. Algorithms do. Yeah, but I understand. I've already made that argument. It's over. It's over multiple videos. You'll see the results. That's the point I'm making. Fakers are the worst. Debunkers try and find the truth no matter how bad they are at it. And a banana, how's it going? Not seen you in a while. Hey, it's okay, chat. Sad I missed a video. I have to rewatch. Awesome. Okay, how far behind the chat? I'm 10 minutes behind the chat. Sorry, guys. I'm going to have to hurry things along. I feel like it's getting a little more tense here. I don't want Dawson to feel like he's being ganged up on. But Dawson, at the same time, I do think you've made the wrong take here, so I can understand. I disagree with you, so I can understand why others are going to disagree with you. But if we could do it respectfully, Dawson yourself as well here, and everyone else, because it is Dawson. A certain amount of respect has to go that Dawson is in the lion's den here. He is disagreeing with people on a debunker platform, which I think a certain amount of respect should be given there. But we have to show that respect in turn, right? Yeah, right. Sorry it's taken me so long to get here, Dan from Pensacola, Florida. Thank you so much for another $9.99. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. I don't ask for my experience, but it happened. I totally change how I view existence. I wish everyone could witness it. I only watch debunkers because I trust your judgment. Fakers exploit it. Thank you so much. That's a great point, and thank you so much for another donation. Really appreciate you. Thank you. Freddie B, how's it going? Hey, Seg, what do you think of those healers, the seventh son of the seventh, so who have the cure of measles and mumps? I think they're all scam artists, witch doctors and all that. I think they're all bullshitters. You have to believe the cure works for it to work. Yeah, it's bollocks. This is the thing where I find like sometimes they'll kind of go, oh, we made cancer go into remittance and all the rest of it. It's like, yeah, but that happens sometimes. That happens. Through your herbal remedy and all the rest of it, make it, I don't know, change. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to try and think of things that can't just happen to that. I mean, the obvious one would be like make a fucking limb grow back, but I'm sure that none of them claim to be able to do that anyway. But I don't know, just make something happen that make like a chronic pain go away. Chronic back pain, chronic spinal pain, things like that. Make that go away. Healers are nonsense. Especially when they make out they can do claims that conventional science don't do. That's what a lot of them do. And grow someone's limbs back, make someone's legs walk again. Horrible. The fake promises on that sort of stuff is fucking horrible. All right, guys. I'm going to skip a whole bunch of chats. Yeah, we keep going back to this same point here. My biggest video, nothing happened. That doesn't equal views. I disagree. May I ask, is your biggest video your best debunk? My biggest video is of Sam and Colby with the surveillance footage at the Bel Air house. Is that the biggest debunk? Some might argue it is in some ways. It's more of an expose. So it's certainly interesting. It's certainly different. Certainly no one else has a video like they're out there like that. One of my best, I would argue, as far as like a debunk goes, I went a bit above and beyond with the Steve House of the Dead when Colin the Paranormal Files went there. That's, I think, my second or third, maybe third biggest video. But I understand what you're saying. I've gone real deep in some videos, like for instance, Ghost Theory, my Ghost Theory video. where myself and Agent F showed the pattern that they go through in videos and all the rest of it, and how it's a bit fishy. That's on 30-something thousand views. That's not after, like, I think that's like a year old now. Not particularly great. Nothing, you know what I mean? So I can understand. That's one I'm very proud of. But again, if every single, it's a bit different because there's not many debunking channels, and the debunking channels are not as big as the ghost hunting channels. So there's lots of different factors. But if every single video I could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that something is fake, if I could expose it as being fake, my channel will be a lot bigger. But it's just very, very, very difficult to do that. So that's why I kind of lean on the comedy route for a lot of things. But the ghost hunting stuff is different because we have the blueprints for that, because there's excuse me, far more successful channels than me doing that same blueprint of ghost hunting stuff. Mate, there's no doubt about it. The reason why most Haunted went as long as they did is because of their faking stuff. There's no doubt that the reason why Ghost Adventures as big as they are is because Zach fakes a lot of shit. There's no doubt that, you know, Twin Paranormal as big as they are, except Omar Gosh got as big as he was. Like, excuse me. I don't think this is a controversial take at all. I'm actually surprised we're even arguing about it, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, okay. I think that's very important. I don't think Dawson's defending fake. He's openly said that they're scammers and they're wrong. So, like, Dawson's not defending fakers. From what I've read here, he's not defending fakers. If the only change that I need in my channel was to start faking, kept everything else the same, guarantee start faking, my channel blows up. I mean, it would probably make a difference. Yeah. Dawson, maybe that means your audience isn't there for the activity. Your audience probably watches you and enjoys what you have to say. Perhaps you are the entertainer. Yeah, probably, yeah. Ember, how's it going? When I was younger, my uncle would tell me that certain shows were fake because they didn't get a lot of activity. God damn. Like, you're fake because you don't get activity? How far by the chat am I? I think your energy level, I think it's their energy level. Their fan base is a different age as well. They have the kids' attention. Many of the Real Deal channels just don't have the demographic. Yeah, there's multiple things to that. Yes, I agree. God, how am I still so far behind the chat? I'm still 10 minutes behind the chat. All right, I'm going to skip a whole bunch of chats. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm just going to skip down to the bottom. I'm missing so many good chats, I'm sure. Okay, I'm at the bottom now. Yeah, that defending fakers thing was out of pocket, but it is what it is. I never defended fakers. Yeah, I agree. Dawson didn't defend fakers. Let's see. So John is asking why ghosts wear clothes. That's a very good question. I've said this all before. Like, why are ghosts coughing? Like, you know, why are ghosts sneezing? Why? Like, can they? In order to sneeze, you got to be able to breathe air. Are we now saying that a sneeze is residual? Is a cough residual? But yeah, okay, I'm getting off topic. What are clothes made of? Who dresses them? Do they go to the laundry? Yeah, do they get dirty? I mean, this will be the argument for residual, and if that's the case, then if all ghosts are residual, then that you would have to then ask all the times when a ghost like scratches someone, is that bullshit? Because if it's residual, how can they interact with you? And this is why, and then they go, oh, it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. And I'm like, it's very convenient how there's always an answer for this. Yeah, I've talked about this as well. It's like, there's three reasons. If we're not going to entertain people who are possessed or haunted items that have an attachment, people or items that have an attachment, there seems to be three main reasons on why a place is haunted. Either they're buried there, cemeteries, they died there, or a particular traumatic event happened at said place, and for some reason the spirit is just told to go there. That's why we have so many Al Capone ghosts, because of that, for that reason. And the only thing that seems to correlate between all these different reasons and all the rest of it is just like whoever's making money out of the place. Sorry, but that's the way I see it. I wish we had the answers to those questions. I don't like dismissing the phenomenon because of those questions. Is a solid question. But if a ghost is residual, what energy from the clothes? Well, I would just assume, this is my thing. I don't believe in this, so I want to make that very fucking clear. But it would be like my understanding of residual is like an echo in time. So the echo would just be like an actual, instead of it being, it's physical. So they would just be wearing the clothes that they were wearing on that particular day while they were alive. Right? It's just an image. It's an echo. It's an image. It's an imprint. Right? I don't know. I think someone who believes in this stuff might need to answer that and do a better job of it than I have. I just did. If they do, then they're the most out-of-date clothing stores ever, because they always wear the same period they died in. How many billions of people have died over human existence? That's not a bad point. Why are there no cavemen ghosts? Why are there no cavemen ghosts? Why is it always like the most famous historical figures as well? Like, you are just one person in billions. Why is it always Henry VIII? Why is it always Al Capone? You know what I mean? Why is it always, I don't fucking know, maybe Genghis Khan, I don't know. You can argue that there's a spirit or something that imprints on stone from a person. Okay, that's fine. But do pants have spirits? And why is human trauma making pants imprint on rocks? Yes, good point. Yeah, I don't know. Someone else has to answer that. I'm tapping out on that one. Yeah, there we go. Why don't we see caveman ghosts? I know someone personally who died in a cemetery when I was a kid, so it does happen, although I'm sure it's extremely rare. God damn. Well, at least you didn't have to go far. Is that a really inappropriate joke? Sorry. Sorry if that was someone close to you, Dawson. Seg, I think it's funny when they do the Esters. Sorry to bring that up. Ugh. Thanks, Kathy. They get the answer for every question asked, and they are supposed to believe. Yeah, I know it. Yeah. All right, guys. I feel like I've got to end it. I'll go to for the 3-hour mark. At the 3-hour mark, we're going to have to end it because this could go on forever. This really could go on forever. Everyone has an exception, and that's why it's such nonsense. In every haunting is an exception, and then there are no rules. That's see. This is the thing as well. Kind of the point I was making with the credentials for someone to be haunted. The rules get made up as it goes along. It really does. And I see a lot of similarities with that and religion. Sorry, religious people, but I do. Like, the rules get made up. I mean, in some instances, they literally do get made up as it goes along. Yeah. There might be caveman ghosts. Thing is, we don't investigate where cavemen use. How do you know? How do you know? We don't know that. Who knows where people die like tens of thousands of years prior? Dan, how's it going? Keith, what would you do if you met a caveman ghost? Maybe every time in the spirit box when he just goes, maybe that's a caveman. We did it, guys. Guys, we've been talking to cavemen a lot. We've been talking to cavemen like every time a spirit box goes on. He goes, that's a caveman. Dinosaur ghosts. Well, they do claim to have cat and dog ghosts, so we live where cavemen used to live. We live in the Netherlands, roamed. We live where Neanderthals roamed. When was the last time you saw a Neanderthal ghost? Yep. Yeah, there's plenty of ancient ghost stories. Did anyone ever search for a caveman ghost story before asking? Because I've heard of ghost cats, animals, horses, all that. I guess the thing is we just never ever hear about it, do we? There was a caveman. We just never hear about it. Wait, has anyone ever actually met a band on the radio before? Met a band on the radio before? What if the band actually ghosts? And so what if we hear on the radio is actual ghosts? Yeah, they're just ghosts playing like, Candle in the Wind or fucking whatever they're playing. To sum up tonight, Joe and Dawn are fakers. Colin talked about himself for an hour. Only big names paid. No, don't be silly. No. Joe and Dawson aren't fakers. God. Why do only cats, dogs, humans, and horses have ghosts? This is the same thing as well. Like, if you have a ghost, surely it's a soul. And I thought animals don't have souls. So they... Again, I think I'm just going off Christian doctrine there. Where is the ghost's Ghost files? Yeah. Ghost virus. All right, guys. All right, I'm calling it. I went on like an hour longer than I normally do. Guys, thank you so much for being here. It may go a little bit iffy in a couple of moments, but I think for the most part, we were pretty cool with each other. Very interesting debates. Really enjoyed it. I think we should all be proud that we're cool with each other. Thank you to everyone who donated. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. You keep the lights on round here. Really, really appreciated. Next, I've got a video coming out tomorrow, which you segue the members and patrons voted was Paranormal Nightmare, and I'm probably going to get into trouble for this one. This is going to be one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, I've got a bad feeling there's going to be some retaliation for this one. So, well, enjoy the channel, enjoy my channel while it lasted. But yeah, that one will be coming out tomorrow. And the next live stream will probably be my birthday live stream. It's my birthday month. So I hope you guys all have fun with that. Guys, in the meantime, hope you had a good time. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. And yeah, just stay being cool with each other because, we're all right, aren't we? Until next time, everyone, ta very much.